A lot of topics we're going to get to today. The first one is the Trump gunman put out his bounty or had a bounty on Trump, and the DOJ chose to release that. Very sketchy. U.S. is going to send its troops to the Middle East for Israel. Zelensky is in the United States, and Josh Shapiro is signing bombs while he watches. Trump has some interesting clips from his Israeli donor event. And also, there's a really sketchy bill that's being pushed by both parties, and it's to keep government moving in case of a mass casualty situation where politicians die in mass numbers. It's all very odd, but we're going to get the show started now so I could get through all these stories. Thanks for being here. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if everything sounds good, and a thumbs up on the video for the algorithm. Dream Rare Podcast starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, King, Murdoch, OG, Curated, Steve, Charger, Unknown, Rami? Thanks for the thumbs up. Guys, I do all my own production, and I have to switch out mechanics and microphones for my rap music, and I was just recording a long song over the weekend, so I was like, hopefully everything works, because usually when I unplug and replug, it could get dicey out here. Let's see, Tina, Burning Hearts. Is Facebook here? Let's see. We got Casey, Scott, Tina. All right, let's get it cracking. So I got a lot of stories I want to get through, so I guess I'll just get started. I won't waste your time, and I'll probably hang out for a while. So if you guys want to kick it, ask some questions. Can you hear the song? No, but soon enough, Duke. It's going to be epic, I promise. But let's get into it, and then I'll hang out at the end, answer some questions and super chats and stuff. But if you super chat now, I'm not going to see it. Just heads up, don't waste your money. I saw this morning, right when I woke up. It said, letter by Trump gunman Ryan Ruth released by the DOJ. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. He said, it is up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. So this is just, I haven't even fully processed it. Obviously, I'm like, okay, why would the DOJ release this letter from him? Like, they obviously want Trump killed. And I don't know if they're pretending like they don't or something, but just let's look at this letter again and let's just think about it. I mean, this had to have been written afterwards, right? Because you wouldn't write this beforehand, because before this guy was allegedly trying to kill Trump. And then he wrote this letter and he said, I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It's up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000. How is this guy able to offer money? Like, there's so many levels to this that I could think about, but it's like he's in custody of the police in jail, probably somewhere, or in some sort of holding facility. He's writing letters, putting out a bounty on Trump, saying, where's he getting the money from? How is he going to transfer the money to somebody else? Why is the DOJ releasing this? Do they want people to know that this guy wants Trump to die and he claims that he has money for him? Let me know what you guys think in the comments a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's just so crazy. Someone said toilet paper. I don't want to talk about this shooter too much because I've already done a few streams on it, but the fact that he was fighting in Ukraine, like getting ex-Taliban members to fight there and stuff, obviously this guy is well connected to multiple governments, you would have to assume, at least the Ukrainian government and the US government, in order to be able to do that. And now they're just brazenly, is that a word, brazenly? They're just showing this stuff. I don't know. I find that very creepy. Very, very creepy. Obviously, the DOJ wants people to know that there's money in killing Trump. And I just don't understand how this guy's going to pay somebody. He's claiming to pay someone. I don't know. Stuff like this makes me want Trump to win more, but I'm going to get to other stuff later that kind of sketches me out on that side. But I still do want Trump to win for various reasons. One of them being, this government is just beyond creepy and incompetent, and they lie. At least Trump's funny, and when Trump is wrong, you could kind of tell because he tells the truth like a lot of times. With all of the Democrats, they never tell the truth. Everything's a lie. They do crap like this. It's pretty dark. I don't know. I could like rant about this for like 20 minutes and be like, wow, it's so crazy, but there's other crazy stuff going on. I want to get through all the episodes, or I guess, articles and news stories would be a better word. So here's two tweets that I saw based on news articles. Greg Price said Zelensky is now touring ammunition factories in Pennsylvania and attacking President Trump and JD Vance in American media outlets. A foreign leader is essentially campaigning for Harris on American soil. Jack Posobiec said Josh Shapiro and Zelensky visit artillery shell plant in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Shapiro signs shells to be used in the war in Ukraine. So Zelensky's in America doing US interviews, shitting on Trump, going to Pennsylvania, watching Josh Shapiro sign shells that will be used in war. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how to say this politically correct, so I'm going to just slowly take a sip of this lemon water, try to stall my time to think of something to say that's not going to get me in trouble. Hold on. No, I think I just want to get in trouble. But yeah, I mean, I've come to the conclusion after all my years of research that the country's pretty much conquered at this point by multiple entities, but the fact that Zelensky and Josh Shapiro are doing this, and then there's laws in America that are being passed for their ethnicity that says, like, you're not allowed to question history. It's like, okay, while you're signing bombs in front of me right now and sending them, and then you're one of these people is just shitting on President Trump, like the person that I kind of want to win. But right, I'm sure that everything that they do is just awesome. Zelensky's like the best. Josh Shapiro is probably just a stand-up guy, the greatest governor of all time. And yeah, they're just maniacally, I mean, parading around the fact that they're just going to kill Europeans and Russians. And I don't think that's a coincidence personally. So I don't really know what to say about it. Once again, I'm not trying to be like condescending or like boring today, but how many times have I talked about Zelensky? Like, clearly he gets to do whatever he wants. He flies here, he gets hundreds of billions of dollars, and then we just get called racist, sexist, xenophobic, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists or something. So, you know, I personally want the war to stop in Ukraine, but Zelensky claims that Trump won't be able to do it, and he's just talking trash about him and gets, you know, his buddy Josh Shapiro to sign bombs. Very nice. Speaking of which, I'm trying to have some fun, so I got to get to some more fun stuff later. This is all kind of like low energy news. Associated Press says breaking: the United States will send additional troops to the Middle East amid escalation between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Pentagon says. So the U.S. is now being pulled into war for Israel. I saw Glenn Greenwald tweet. He said, "Who made this decision?" And it's a good question. Who did make this decision? Was it Joe Biden at the ripe age of 10,000 years old? Probably not. Is he even running the country? I don't know. Does anyone care? I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I know they say that Congress is supposed to approve of troops in war, but that hasn't happened for 30 years. So tweeting about it or me being like, isn't Congress supposed to approve of it? Yeah, but that like never happens anymore. So they just do what they want. But it is interesting because there was no, at least that I saw, like official declaration. Like, it is true. Shouldn't some leader in our government stand up and be like, yeah, we made the decision to do this? Or they're just announcing it through the press, like, yeah, you know, U.S. troops in the Middle East. I talked about the Lebanon situation with Israel last live stream. I would say whether you're pro-Israel or you're skeptical of Israel or you sympathize for Palestine or whatever, and the media calls you pro-Hamas, like no matter what your position is, I would say like at this point, it's pretty obvious that America's been fighting in the Middle East for decades now for Israel. When I was young, I thought that it was for like, you know, oil. And I think that that's part of it. Obviously, there's Halliburton and there are financial incentives for certain people to start wars and make money in U.S. companies. So I'm not saying that there's no part of that that's true, but I think anybody that does a lot of research and is honest with themselves, like no matter what your foreign policy is, the U.S., our entire foreign policy seems to revolve around Israel. Like I don't know if this is going to be considered anti-Semitic. I got to watch what I say. America's kind of like Israel's attack dog. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever Israel does, we just give them money and then they call us anti-Semitic and then they fight wars and then we send troops and then we do this and then we do that. But then it's like weird because like you're not allowed to say it's happening. You're supposed to pretend like something else is happening. So I'm just kind of confused by the rule at this point because I understand like I'm not in control. My vote doesn't matter this election. Like people like Dan Bongino and all of these like Zionist Republicans, they'll convince you. And I don't care what your foreign policy is, but they'll convince you that if Kamala, like Trump said, if Kamala wins, Israel will be wiped off the earth in 2 years. That's what Trump says. That's not true. I hope that Kamala doesn't win, and I hope we never find out. But if she does win in November, I hope she doesn't. If she does, in 2 years, Israel will still be there. They're not going to get wiped out. Biden supports Israel. Kamala supports Israel. Democrats support Israel. Republicans support Israel. Democrats fund Israel. Democrats send troops for Israel. The Republican Zionists are like such fake opposition because they'll be like, Iran's coming after Trump and we need to go beat up Iran now. And it's like, sure, fight Iran and Hezbollah. Like clearly that's what, America and Israel is going to do. I understand that's their foreign policy. They're trying to beat up everybody in the Middle East so Israel can, expand their land and then say they're not doing it or something. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just like not shocked by this, and I don't know what people think, but it's to me pretty clear that America has been fighting wars for another foreign country that totally doesn't control America, but it kind of does, but it also doesn't. But you can't say it, but you should say it, but you should support it, but you can't say that's happening, but it is like I don't know anymore. I don't even want to talk about it. It's like, yeah, we'll just act stupid on it. Like maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's like Antarctica or something. Anyway, let's get to a few other stories, and then I have more into what I was just talking about because I'm not just trying to talk about it like that, but I do have a little more oomph to my, I wouldn't even say argument because I'm not even trying to argue, but, talking point. This was very strange. Somebody sent this to me, and it's the Washington Post. They said, scarred by violence, lawmakers plan for possible mass casualty event. Congress must ensure it can continue to govern in the aftermath of mass violence, bipartisan group of House members argues. Kilmer teamed up with Brad Wenstrup, William Timmons, and Emmanuel Cleaver, too, to come up with a proposal to ensure that Congress can continue its work if a large number of members are killed in a mass attack. Their logic is people are being threatened now more than ever in Congress, and we need to have a bill to make sure that government can keep going even if a bunch of congressmen get killed. I think that's a really weird thing to just bring up. I mean, America's been in existence for hundreds of years now, and I guess no one to this point has thought of something like that. And now it's 2024, and they're like, you know what? In the case that just a bunch of people in government just get killed, we need to keep funneling money to foreign countries or whatever they think they're doing with our taxpayer dollars. So I don't know. Anytime I see stuff like that, I don't know what I could say on these platforms because we live in like a Bolsheviks, like pseudo communist, fake corporate democracy republic, capitalism or whatever they say it is. But on these platforms, you're not allowed to say that they like do things purposely. So like when they did Event 201, which was a pandemic simulation where they simulated a fake pandemic and then a real one happened like a year later, you're not allowed to be like, oh, like some of those same strategies were used again, even though they literally were. I think I said that and I got in trouble on Facebook and Instagram from like a fact checker in France. So it's like America gets fact checked by France, like a random group of people in France. That's weird. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying anything's going to happen. Like maybe they just thought of this spontaneously, but I just find that pretty weird to bring up. Like, it's just like if you passed a bill 3 years before a pandemic and you're like, just in case a virus, kills millions of people and we need to rush a vaccine and, print a bunch of money. It's like, did you just think of that on your own? I understand these things can happen, but I do find it just very bizarre that a few congressmen were like, just in case a lot of congressmen get killed, we need a plan. I mean, if you say so, I guess like someone has to think of that, but I find stuff like that very suspicious personally. I have one more video and then I'm just going to kick it, see what you guys are talking about and try to kind of bounce off that. But with all of this stuff, I could kind of bring it all together at the end. I know I just kind of sped through a bunch of stories, but I just don't know really what to say about it anymore. I think the older I get, hopefully I'm getting wiser. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm getting dumber. But as I get older, it's like, what's there really to say? Like the first story was the shooter who tried to kill Trump wrote a letter basically putting a bounty on Donald Trump. Where's he getting the money from? Why are they releasing this to the public? Like it's crazy. It's just ridiculous. Zelensky in America, I'm used to it by now, but America going to the US, sending our troops for Israel, this sort of stuff. It's all, I have a lot to say, I guess, but I wanted to just rush through them. And then this is what I noticed, because I feel like the value in my show, there's hopefully sometimes I make you laugh and, there's value to having fun. I think there's value if you learn a new story or, you educate yourself. But I feel like in Republican conservative media and even like truther media, I'll get into that later. I don't want to name names, but there's some accounts on Twitter that they're just constantly lying. Like with the Diddy stuff, obviously Diddy was connected to a lot of people, but there's some people that are just like, this is going to happen tomorrow. And it's like, dude, it's not going to happen. You're just lying to people for monetization. But in the Republican conservative sphere, I feel like they all pretty much lie in unison about this topic that I'm about to tell you about. And it's just the most interesting thing to me, because it's like, yeah, I could say what they say all the time, but it's like they're telling you the truth about these things. And then at the end, they're always trying to curve you in a certain direction off of just blatant things that don't make sense. So I wanted to bring this up because whether you're allowed to say it or not, or whether Republican media will smear you, Trump is pretty much proving my point that I've tried to say for years. And I don't care. It's not like a big deal. I get it. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's going to say something. But, I've been called a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to play the clip by someone in conservative media saying it was like this, anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. And like, it's been published as like, oh, it's so anti-Semitic to say that Jewish donors pay Trump to get things for Israel because you're not allowed to say anybody has dual loyalty to the country or whatever. I just wanted to play this clip because I think this is why Trump is so funny. He's very honest, even when he's like not being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like 90% of the time, 80% of the time, he's just being himself. And like Kamala, everything's an act. George Bush, everything's an act. Trump is kind of just like messing around. And he admitted that, his biggest donors basically want him to do things for Israel, and he does things for Israel for them. And then they always just keep asking him to do more things for Israel. So I'm just vindicated once again, like everything I say, because I'm not a liar and I'm always just saying what I think. I don't have an alternate. I don't know. It's like, you can't say that. It's like, well, it's true. Here's Trump saying what I've been trying to say for 4 years, admitting it on stage. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's literally how the Republican Party works. They take hundreds of millions of dollars from big donors, and then they do things for foreign countries because the donors that give them the money want things done for foreign countries. And then they want speech laws that say that it's anti-Semitic to say that they're doing it. I would just say do it. No, who cares at this point? But no, the people of America can't talk about it. Here's Trump pretty much saying it. I love Trump for this. It's so funny.
Just as I promised, I recognized Israel's eternal capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Jerusalem became the capital. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the White House probably almost more than anybody outside of people that work there. And they were always after, and as soon as I'd give them something, always for Israel. As soon as I'd give them something, they'd want something else. I said, give me a couple of weeks, will you please? But I gave them the Golan Heights, and they never even asked for it. For 72 years, they've been trying to do the Golan Heights, right? And even Sheldon didn't have the nerve. But I said, you know what? I said to David Friedman, give me a quick lesson, like 5 minutes or less on the Golan Heights. And he did. And I said, let's do it. We got it done in about 15 minutes, right? Yeah.
So in that clip, Trump said that Miriam and Sheldon Adelson, and we want to be respectful. Rest in peace, Sheldon. He is now deceased. I think the money's in the hands of Miriam Adelson, his wife. And they're the biggest donors of the Republican Party. If you didn't know that, you probably do know that because I've said it before. But if you've never heard that, it's because nobody in Republican media will tell the truth about it. They're constantly just like spazzing out, screaming like Fox News talking points, brainwashing you into oblivion. And they'll talk about left-wing donors like George Soros, who gives hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to liberal causes around the world. But mysteriously, they never want to tell you that Trump took money from Pfizer, Trump took money from banks, and Trump took hundreds of millions of dollars from donors and then, caves to the donors. Isn't that weird? Isn't it almost like they're the fake opposition pretending to fight the fake opposition? They're like, John McCain sucks. Duh. Mitt Romney sucks. Duh. But all of us, we're the real patriots. It's like, whatever you guys say. But I just want to show you this real quick. This is just the reality of how Republican politics works. Sheldon Adelson gave Trump and Republicans over $424 million since 2016. And then, Miriam Adelson is giving Trump $100 million, right? I just showed you that clip where Trump says they were in the White House more than anyone else. The people that are giving the Republicans $400 million, right? $500 million. They're in the White House more than anyone else. And they're constant. Every time Trump does something for them, for Israel, they want something else for Israel. The funniest thing is I've never been hateful about this. I've never been anti-Israel. I've never been like overtly pro-Palestine, or I'm not picking sides. I'm just reporting the facts. I got smeared by Zionist media, Republican fake opposition Zionist media, a national smear campaign, an international smear campaign. I don't give a shit, because really you're just being like, breaking news. This guy's awesome. He tells the truth and he's totally honest. So I don't give a shit. It doesn't really bother me. But with that being said, it's like my crime was a thought crime of just thinking and telling the truth, which is the biggest donor in the Republican Party is a pro-Israel Jewish family that wants Trump to do things for a foreign country. That's the truth. If you like Israel, then you're happy about it. If you don't want a foreign, country to have influence in America, then maybe you're not happy. I don't really give a shit what people think anymore. It is what it is. I don't think I'm like the Lord of the universe where I get to run things. Like, I don't get to call the shots. The Lebanon-Israel war is not my business. I don't even have sovereignty over my own country. But in general, it's like, do people realize, and I know a lot of people here watching, but this was like the talking point that pretty much got me blacklisted from conservative media. I'm going to play the clip again, and then I want to play a clip when I talked to conservative mama, I think her name was conservative mama, and she was like basically almost subtly accusing me of like an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory for saying what Trump is literally saying here. Listen again real quick, and then I'm going to play the clip. Trump says the big donors, remember, I'm just going to show you again. They're giving hundreds of millions of dollars, $424 million, $100 million to Trump. You know why they're giving the money? I've told you this for years. They want Trump to do things for Israel, right? When I say it, it's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. It's the worst thing in the world. I can't work in conservative organizations. I can't get invited on the news anymore. I can't get invited to events. I'm almost being banned from conservative events. But when Trump says it on the stage, he's like, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're giving me money, and then I do things for Israel, and then they want me to do another thing for Israel. It's literally the truth. Thank you, Trump, for just being so, honest. I appreciate it.
Just as I promised, I recognized Israel's eternal capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Jerusalem became the capital. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the White House probably almost more than anybody outside of people that work there. And they were always after, and as soon as I'd give them something, always for Israel. As soon as I'd give them something, they'd want something else. I said, give me a couple of weeks, will you please?
Wow. So his big donors who give him hundreds of millions of dollars, he's just doing things for Israel, doing things for a foreign country, not America, for a foreign country, but a country that's basically America now. We're joined at the hip. So if you think we're different and we have sovereignty, those days are gone, long gone. But in general, it's like, he's like, I do things for a foreign country, and then they come to the White House and ask me for more things. When Trump says it, it's a funny talking point at an Israeli donor conference. When I say it, it's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Let's watch when I brought it up in a debate with conservative mama, and she just couldn't fathom it. She's like, are you trying to say that people of this ethnicity are giving money to Trump to get him to do things for Israel? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, because it's true.
So
Is it possible? Do you think it's possible that it's not their faith dictating these decisions to pass basically blasphemy laws against Christianity, their own religion? Do you think it's possible that it's donor money, hundreds of millions of dollars of donors, in the same way that
Well, if you want to, like, you can go into like, and hey, I'm a big conspiracy theory person.
Well, it's not conspiracy. Donor money is not a
if you want to talk
conspiracy.
about like Jews running the world, is that?
No,
that's
that
kind of like,
no. Well, this
but
is.
that's
But
kind of
here's
like
the thing. But here's the thing. It's if I say like I'm so glad you came on. If I say big pharma paid off both parties in order to, get politicians to support the pharmaceutical industry, you would be like, yeah, no, that's true. But the second that I say that donors are giving hundreds of millions of dollars to both parties, but the Republican Party to do these things, you go to this like conspiracy theory in your head, which is exactly what the left would do to you if you talked about the pharmaceutical lobbying money. They would, I made up a word. It's called anti-pharmetic, which means, you're suggesting that big pharma controls politicians. It's anti-pharmetic. It's,
right.
Anti-science.
So do you think that, you think big donors are paying people to support Israel and to support to suppress free speech, anyone speaking out against Israel? Is that what you think is going on? Like, if you're going to be honest.
I think that donors pay politicians to influence politics. I don't think that. I know that. I don't even question that. I think that's 1,000% true. Do you think donors are paying politicians to get? Yeah, obviously. So yeah, when someone gives $500 million to the Republican Party, thank you, Donald Trump, for just being so blunt, like always. That's why we love Trump sometimes. He's like, yeah, I just keep doing things for this country. And then they just want more. Why do you think Trump passed an anti-Semitism bill or executive order? You think he comes up with this stuff? Look who's at go look at the signing of it and look who's standing around. Alan Dershowitz, Jared Kushner. I'm sure the Adelsons were in there somewhere. I didn't see them, but it's like, yeah, obviously. So is that so hateful to say? And here's my issue with the whole thing. And this is what people like with Fox News and Dan Bongino brain don't understand, because their brain is so far deteriorated they can't think straight. Like they're our greatest ally. It's like, are they so great of an ally that you should wipe your ass with the First Amendment for them? And they're like, no. It's like, well, then why is Trump passing this bill? It's like, read the bill. The bill literally says that you're not allowed to accuse an American of a certain ethnicity of having dual loyalty to Israel, even though the biggest donor in the Republican Party is somebody that openly and proudly has dual loyalty to Israel, that Trump on stage says has dual loyalty to Israel, and all they wanted was things for Israel. So not only are they doing this, but they're passing bills in government to say that it's hate speech for you to say it. And this has always been my issue. This is why I've been blacklisted from conservative media since 2019. This is why they're always hiring plants and puppets and all these little idiots that everybody knows are less talented or interesting than me. It's because they play ball. Once they figure out, and it wasn't even, I had no hard feelings about Israel. I had no hard feelings about anybody. I just said, this bill is basically making it hate speech to say that big donors are paying Trump. Like, that's crazy. Oh no, but now you can't be in, because they got to pump out these podcasts like Dan Bongino and, all these people. Even, PBD podcast, God bless him. Like, look how he acts on the topic. All of a sudden, he starts acting a little interesting, but, and then like, he's like, Candace shouldn't say that. And, now that she said that, Dan said that. It's like, okay, like now we're playing the guilt by association game. It's the same thing they did to me. This is not new for me, because I've already seen it happen. They're like, well, you said this and someone else said this and someone else said this and that. So this means that and this. And it's like, okay, that's like what liberals do too. They're like, oh, Trump is literally a dictator because he talked to Kim Jong-un. And you're like, yeah, that's not how it works, but you could lie to yourself if you want to. So, at the end of the day, I just wanted to say thank you to Donald Trump for saying the hidden secret out loud that everybody knows. But now you got to ask yourself, Trump, why are you passing hate speech laws that make it basically, demonize or code your language as hate in multiple different places in the country for saying that your donors are paying you to do something for a country? Yeah, read the laws. It's the right wing, in my opinion. It's like the left wing does certain like LGBT and this and that, and then the right does those type of laws. It's going through both sides. I'll say this. With all that, I want Trump to win because I think that he's better domestically. I just think he's more honest. Even with speeches like that, people could look at that speech, and I was listening to it. The whole thing was like super cringe. He's just talking to a bunch of donors and saying what he did for a foreign country. But in general, it's like at least Trump says it out loud. With Kamala, everything's fake. With other Republicans, it's all fake. I like the fact that Trump is just kind of like saying it, even if it's not, what people agree with. So I like a lot of things about him. I think it's crazy that they're trying to kill him. I think the fact that the DOJ released that letter, like regardless of all the pitfalls of Trump, like the DOJ, releasing a letter that is putting a bounty on Trump, to say that that's gone too far is an understatement, and there's really like no one else for this election. The primaries are over. So if Republicans want to rebuild, you got to do it over the next couple of years. It's not happening now. So it's like the escalation of the left is so ridiculous that I want Trump to win. But then I see videos like that and I listen to the whole speech just trying to pick out certain stuff. And it's like, the more I hear him talk about that stuff, the less I really want him to win. I still want him to win, and I'm not going to like let that spoil it. But, I don't really know what's going on in the sense of like, maybe the elites want Trump to lose, because I've talked about this over the last couple podcasts, because Trump is going to try to stop the war in Ukraine and they want the war in Ukraine. Maybe Trump is a pest because he just doesn't follow everything they want to do. He only follows 70% of it or whatever, 80%. But then there's that chance that they actually want Trump in because, when I listen to other Republican media talk about Israel and the war, they always paint it as Kamala Harris, like even Trump himself, he literally pathologically lies about it. He's like, Israel won't exist in 2 years if I'm not in office. Like he's acting as if like Kamala doesn't support Israel. That's why Republican media is fake opposition. It's not because they support that country. They're just not honest about it. You could support Israel and still tell the truth about what's going on there. But that's what almost virtually no Republican Zionists do. They have to pathologically lie about every aspect of it, to the point where somebody was in the comments, they're like, I tried to ask my dad like why they're our greatest ally. And he said, because it's the only democracy in the Middle East. It's like, that's like saying Ukraine is the only democracy in Russia. It's like, do you even believe that? Like, is America a democracy too? Or it's like such a dumb talking point. But in general, when it comes to that narrative in Republican media, they're always trying to paint this totally fake like reality where it's like, we're going to help that country and Democrats really hate them and they're so pro-Palestinian. Like, I've talked about this before, but Trump keeps calling Chuck Schumer a Palestinian. He's like, Chuck Schumer is basically a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer is a Jewish American writing a book about anti-Semitism. Trump is creating this false paradigm where it's like, I'm with the Jewish people and Chuck Schumer is a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer is far from a Palestinian, and he's not anti-Israel. He's just the other side of the coin when it comes to Israel. He's pro-Israel. He funds Israel. He supports Israel. He's concerned about the same anti-Semitism rules that Trump's passing through law. It's just, but when you listen to Republicans talk about it, they're convincing you that like Democrats are not that. And, it's debatable, but I do think that Trump is probably like more pro-Israel. I would say, like, if you could put it on a scale, like Democrats probably give Israel like nearly everything they want. Like I'd give it like a 9.5 out of 10, and Trump is like a 10 out of 10 where he gives them everything that they want. And that's where I don't really know like who wants who there. Like maybe they want Trump there because they want Trump to ramp up the war in Israel. But this is just my personal, I would say, take on it based on the evidence. I don't think Israel really cares who wins because they're doing whatever they want even now, and nobody's going to stop them because Israel has like complete leverage over America and everybody knows it. So it's like, this dynamic where like they're not going to, dude, they don't care. Go look at AIPAC's videos. AIPAC puts out videos where they literally brag about lobbying almost every politician. I played it before. I don't have the clip on me, but it shows like every president, every vice president, Trump, Obama, Biden, Pence, they literally like put everyone's face on the screen, like thousands of faces. And they're like, we don't care who wins. It doesn't matter. Democrats are we lobby them all. We got them all. It doesn't matter. And it's like, I don't understand why Republican Zionists have to lie so much about it. Like they could say, we're going to support Israel more, and we don't think Democrats support Israel enough. I would respect that. I'd be like, I get it. You want to give Israel even more. You want to give them more of our like, you're to Zelensky what Democrats are to Zelensky what you are to Israel. Like you want to do even more than them. That's fair. But to sit there and act like they're not, look how much money they've given Israel. Tens of billions of dollars over the last year. Israel gets billions of dollars no matter who's in office. It's been that way for 30, 40 years. They just constantly get US taxpayer money. Biden or whoever is running the country, and Anthony Blinken or whoever, they're sending troops. Why are they sending troops to the Middle East if they don't support Israel? Because they do. Our whole government revolves around that. That's like the main priority of almost every politician. And there's like 6 people in Congress who reject that, Thomas Massey being one of them. And Trump and all these like Dan Bongino types, they keep telling people like, oh, like if you've ever seen recent Trump interviews, including that one or speeches, he's like, back in the day, you couldn't say anything about Israel, but now like all of Congress is turning against them. And like, it's crazy. And it's like, bro, go look at the bills when it comes to Israel. Like 99% of Congress votes for them and like 1% votes against them. And almost all of the people that were not completely like subservient to Israel, they've been voted out. I think there's only a couple left after the last election because AIPAC pretty much funds their opposition and usually has a extraordinary voting record. Like everybody knows it's hard to win without the support of Israel in America because that's what America is. Like it's just the reality. It's like when I say that there's people giving Trump hundreds of millions of dollars to do something for Israel, it's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. It gets smeared in international press. Republicans freak out. I get banned from events. And then Trump just says it on stage because it's literally the truth. That's what's happening. And it's not that different on the Democratic side either. They're not radically anti by any means. It's like it would be like being a conservative and then, being like, oh, it's the Green Party versus the Democratic Party. It's like there's nothing there for you. Like Jill Stein, she makes a sense on a few topics, but for the most part, she is far left when it comes to economic policy. And her ideas suck, in my opinion, for America. I think maybe she has nice intentions. Maybe she's just dumb. I don't know. Sometimes I see videos and she like defends Trump and calls out the Russian war and the war in the Middle East. And she seems kind of cool. But for the most part, she's the one who orchestrated the Green New Deal. It's not even AOC. She stole it from her. But that's what I'm saying. It's like if I told you the election is AOC versus Jill Stein and you're a Republican conservative, there's nothing for you in that election. It's a false paradigm. And I'm like, oh, she's so radical and she's so different. They're both not good for you. Like they both do some things that maybe benefit you, but for the most part, that's what Republicans are. Like that's the truth until people figure it out. Republicans are fake opposition. They're getting hundreds of millions of dollars to worship a foreign country essentially over their own country and then pass a law in America against their own citizens to say that you can't even say that they're getting paid to do it when they're literally getting paid to do it. That's why I came out with the term anti-pharmetic. It's like, imagine I took $100 million from Pfizer and then I passed a law that said anybody that questions Pfizer's anti-pharmetic and anybody who questions the vaccine is an anti-pharmaphobe. It like that. You get what it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just this word is thousands of years old because if you listen to enough interviews, they'll tell you that, anti-Semitism has existed since the times of Jesus. Because I guess, in the terms of some, Jesus was the original anti-Semite. And I'm not just saying that nilly-willy. And I don't believe everybody believes that. But I've watched enough interviews now where, when they're combated with like, how old is anti-Semitism? They say thousands of years old. When? From the times of Jesus, because he was rejecting a lot of, what they were doing. I mean, that's the story. So I guess that's what America needs now. We need blasphemy laws that say you can't say that a certain group of people did a certain thing to Jesus. You can't say that donors are paying Trump when he's literally saying it on stage. You can't question history. You can't say that these people own banks or media. You can't say this. You can't say that. You can't say, why don't they have Italian speech laws or Mexican speech laws? Because these groups don't have lobbying power like that. It's just what it is. So I'm not trying to sound repetitive, but at the end of the day, like I'm not Dan Bongino, I'm not Charlie Kirk, I'm not PBD Podcast, I'm not all these other people. This is the reality of the situation. You have essentially a country that has leverage over both parties. The Republicans act like it's not true. The Democrats don't. And what do you get out of it? You get U.S. troops being sent to the Middle East again. You have, I don't know, Kamala Harris doing God knows what. And, Trump, that's where he gets his money. That's what he's going to do. And that's who enters the White House more than anybody because they want something for their money. They give him hundreds of millions of dollars. They want him to do stuff for Israel. So it is what it is. I still want Trump to win. I still think he's the better option, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope he does win, and I hope he does do some stuff. I like that he at least admits it publicly and tells people how, the situation really works. But I just can't get I don't even listen to political podcasts anymore. I would say this: if you listen to Dan Bongino or some of these Republican podcasts, you're almost just as brainwashed as a liberal. You just don't realize it. Like, you're being fed the truth about domestic issues and the border. All of that's true. I agree with Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino on almost everything. Like, they're right about all that, but it's always like, yeah, but it's Iran and we got to do this and the anti-Semites and it's like, how, okay, so what do we need? More speech laws? We need more military troops sent over to that country. They need more of our money. What, the one clip that cracks me up that I know I'm not supposed to talk about because I'll probably get mad or something, but it's a public clip and I just find it obvious. You watch the Piers Morgan clip of PBD that went viral where he's just going off on Ukraine saying like, Ukraine got so much money. They're getting hundreds of billions of dollars from America. It's ridiculous. Our country's falling apart. We need to focus on us. And then whatever his name is, Piers Morgan's like, okay, what about Israel? And all of a sudden, he's a totally different person. It's the same with RFK. It's the same with everybody. It's like, okay, then the Democrats think the same thing about Ukraine. Then maybe they're right about Ukraine. I don't think they are, but it's the same sort of logic where Democrats think if we don't fund and Democrats only think this because they're brainwashed. They don't actually have really thoughtful, meaningful discussion behind it. It's like Trump's Russia, so we got to do this, and Zelensky's great because they told me it was on TV. But we're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Zelensky. Why? Because we're being told if we fund a war that gets a bunch of Europeans killed, like there's not certain people that want Europeans to die, but in general, it's like if we fund that war, we're going to save democracy and Putin's the new Hitler and he's going to invade all of Europe. And if we don't fund, Zelensky, the hero of World War III, then, we're going to all like lose everything. That's what they tell us. And it's like Republicans know that that's not true. But Democrats, like, we have to funnel tens of billions of dollars in troops and weapons, and we need to get involved in this war. Okay, the same logic is what Republican Zionists do with Israel. They say we need to give tens of billions of dollars to Israel. We need to funnel money to them. We need speech laws in our country. Or we don't agree with the speech laws, but we won't really oppose them. And I've been telling people this for 5 years now. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm American. I live in America. God bless Israel. God bless Ukraine. I'm American. I want my First Amendment. I've read history books. I see what they do to people that don't have the freedom of speech. I see what other countries are doing around the world. In England, you can't do anything. Now you can't criticize, immigration from other countries. You can't criticize migrants. And it's like, that's what happens when you lose your freedom of speech. So I don't believe in hate speech. I believe people should be able to talk about ethnicity, culture, and religion in America, or else it's not America. So as soon as I figured out this in 2019, that Republicans were selling that out, they all turn on you. So it's like, I already know all these people are fake. And I'm not trying to sit here and pick fights with them every day or argue or be a drama queen. It's like 95% of the people that Republicans are listening to, they're my hero. They're fake. They're fake opposition. They're just there to tell you what you want to hear and make sure that nobody like myself gets to a point where you can actually hear me on the same level as them. Like, they need to be like, well, it's different when it's this country and the speech laws aren't really speech laws. What are they then? Why are they being passed through so many things? It's a leverage game. You push it in, you get it in, and then the slippery slope happens. It's the same thing with LGBTQ++, XYZ, Justin Trudeau. That's what I call the LGBTQs now. I've added the letters to be respectful. It's like first they do this, then they do this, then they do this. Oh no, we're just trying to get married. It's like some people were. I'm not saying every gay person's in on it because it's not true, but it's like this agenda, especially history repeats itself, where a lot of this like extraordinarily like over the top stuff has been tried before in the past. But in general, it's like they've now normalized things that no one even thought of, where it's like, oh, you just want to get married, right? And it's like, well, no, we want to push it on every show, and then we want to give sex changes to kids. And like it gets so far where you're like, how did this happen? And it's like, well, first it happened slow and then it happened fast. And I'm not blaming every gay person for that. I'm just saying that's how it happened. Now we live in a country where what used to be normal is like a long shot from what we're living in. It's the same thing with these speech laws. They're not just passing them into schools and cutting off funding. Did you know? This is another crazy thing about America too. Did you know that in a lot of different places in America, states, universities, etc., you're not allowed to boycott products from Israel, right? I've never thought in my mind, like, I'm like, why would people even want to boycott products from Israel? Like, I never understood it, but I'm like, I think they should have the right to do it. I'm not against it, but like, why can you boycott products from Georgia or, like North Dakota? Like, you could boycott anybody you want in America, but you can't boycott Israel. So that just tells you right there who's running the show. Okay, now I'm not saying that they're going to do this to everybody, because I don't think it's the case, but it's like you have exploding pagers in a foreign country. I know they said they're going for Hezbollah and they did this, but they hit some civilians too. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that they're going to do that in America. I don't think they are, but it's just like, you don't even have the right to boycott the products in certain areas. As a citizen, you do, but in certain organizations in certain states with certain funding, like, there's more laws for Israel in America that you have to buy their products and you can't boycott stuff that they're doing than there are for your own country. It's so obvious what's going on. The only people that don't seem to know are like people that watch Republican media. So it's like watching all this stuff go down. It's like, they passed these hate speech laws in 2019, 2020, and then a war breaks out. And now your criticism or your your opposition to the war is getting misconstrued as anti-Semitism. It's not random. They passed the definition in the 2010s. I think it started in like 2014, 15, 16, started coming into America. And it's like, I don't even understand all these rules and laws and like, what would they even be used for? And then a war breaks out, and then it's like, oh, and then this happens, and then, oh, it's like, it's just so obvious. And I don't know, you can think what you want from that. I said what I said, not what people will accuse me of saying, but it's like all of these rules are now being used to stop you from opposing war or saying that another country did something purposely. And it's like, that's just what America is now. And it's not, I hope Trump wins, but we're not voting our way out of this because it's not votable. So I'm going to read a few comments and stick around for a little bit, and then I'll probably take off. And I'm going to work on some more, I would say, calculated videos that are kind of edited and stuff. They seem to be doing well, so I'll definitely do more of those in the next couple weeks. I don't know. People are arguing in the comment section. I want to see somebody that actually disagrees, because I want to just like I see you guys arguing with somebody, but I want to see what they're saying. Because when I had Conservative Mama on, if you guys never saw that debate or interview, I love that, because I'm not just trying to talk to myself. I'm not like trying to sit in a corner and yell into the wind. I'm trying to challenge what I know. And that's why I played that clip, because it's like, what I knew was true was being basically like, oh, are you getting into that conspiracy? It's like, I said, here's what I said, right? And I've been saying this for 5-6 years now. I said donors of a certain ethnicity are giving hundreds of millions of dollars to Trump and getting him to do things for a foreign country, including hate speech laws or hate speech rules and phrases that are being passed into legislation, right? That's what I said. And then she goes, are you saying it's a conspiracy theory? Are you getting into that thing that like these people run the media? And it's like, you said all that stuff. I didn't say, I said what I just said, and you said all that stuff. But like, it's like so dumb. It's like saying the crime rate in a certain neighborhood of like, Black Americans is high in that neighborhood because like it's just statistically true, and not blaming, but being like, well, let's try to figure out why this is happening. And then they're like, are you saying that Black people run the media? It's like, no, I never said that. But also like, why are you so like, what do you have like a argument? Or are you just going to like spaz out and act like everything's a conspiracy theory now? Because I could say that too. It's like, oh, you don't want to get the vaccine? Are you a conspiracy theorist? Like, what do you mean you don't want to get 3 injections of synthetic mRNA? Are you saying that like big pharma runs the world and they're gonna hurt you? It's like, what? I mean, did I just say that? No. Would I say that? Not that way. No, I would try to say it more. I try to like explain it thoroughly and accurately without just making like grandiose statements. But this is why like. Think about Republicans. Who could debate me on this topic? Nobody. because they don't have the truth on their side, and they'll have to basically just like cave and be like, hey, yeah, you're right, but I don't want to admit it because I want money. It's like, we know, dude. We know. It's like, you think Charlie Kirk doesn't know this stuff? Of course he does. But how much money do you think Charlie Kirk has made from donors similar to the ones that Trump has got money from, that Trump just said are the ones coming into the White House demanding things for a foreign country? A lot, a lot. His organizations have gotten a lot of donor money. So he knows everything that I know. He's not dumb. He's been in politics longer than I have. I need money. I need my money and fame. It's like, that's everybody in Republican media. If they're not biased on the topic, some people have an ethnic or a religious bias on the topic, for certain reasons. But other people, it's really not that deep. Like, I think if Trump got $300 million from someone else, then he'd probably just do another speech law. I don't think he thinks about it that deeply. And when it comes to foreign countries, this is what I do understand, but I've just talked about Israel and politics. But when it comes to sports, Saudi Arabia or Muslim, I'm trying to is it Saudi Arabia or UAE? I think they're Saudi. Like this guy, Turk al-Sheikh. I got to look it up. Hold on one sec. Let me see where he's from. I don't want to be wrong about it. Turkey al-Sheikh. Turk al-Sheikh is from Saudi Arabia. This guy is taking over boxing. He's funding a lot of the big events. He's paying exorbitant amount of monies to fund UFC events now. It's like, I don't care. This guy seems cool to me, and I don't. It doesn't matter to me. But it's like Saudi is allowed to take over sports, and the U.S. government doesn't seem to care. Israel influences politics. The U.S. government doesn't seem to care. Russia almost paid Tim Pool without Tim Pool knowing, and it's a huge freak out, and the DOJ's on it. I'm not trying to stop anybody's hustle. I'm just like, why, is it just because Israel and Saudi Arabia are rich? The American government doesn't want to stop Saudi Arabia? Do you think a Russian billionaire or trillionaire could do what Turk al-Sheikh is doing to sports? A Russian billionaire could just come in and be like, hey, I'm going to put on boxing events between the biggest boxers in America and bring people to Saudi Arabia and fund events in Las Vegas. No, Russians are not allowed to do that, or at least people connected to Russia. I know there was a guy that I think he was Jewish, but he had ties with Russia. He owned a soccer team and they took his team away. They just because they determined that he was not loyal to the West enough. He had ties to Russia and Putin, I guess, and he owned English soccer teams. They basically stole the team. They're taking boats from different people and stuff, different billionaires. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm not out here trying to police the world, but it's if you're Saudi and you're rich, they don't seem to give a shit in America for whatever reason. They don't see that as a threat to their liberal gay world order agenda or something. I don't know. Or maybe they're just so rich they can't do anything. Turk al-Sheikh has them by the balls. I have no idea. And I'm not trying to disrespect Turk al-Sheikh. I think I as a fan of sports, I like the fact that he's putting on good fights. He seems like a chill guy. But I just don't what's the rule? If you're Jewish but you lived in Russia and they think you're too close to Putin, they just steal your stuff. But if you're an American who has loyalty to Israel, then you can influence stuff, and then the Saudis can. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I think it's a money thing. If you're a rich enough country, but they really hate Russia. This guy, I forget his name. I think he owned Arsenal or Chelsea, and they made him sell it basically. And they were like, yeah, you can't have it anymore. Okay. So that guy can't have Chelsea, but this guy can take over boxing. I don't know. I don't make the rules here. I'm just noticing. Someone said, this is why the threat to put sanctions on Elon is crazy. They could literally seize X from Elon if they put sanctions on him. Turk al-Sheikh. I don't pronounce it right. I'll learn it. Sorry about that. Yeah, Abramovich, right? I think he was Russian, but I think he was ethnically Jewish, and they made him sell Chelsea, and I think they seized his his yacht or something. I mean, Russia is really under attack from this part of the world. You can't be a Russian billionaire and own anything. But someone said, why does every anomaly live stream start with a bait topic and turn into Israel bashing? I'm not bashing. I mean, I just said why I'm talking about Saudi and Israel. Can you articulate why you think I'm bashing? I'm just speaking the reality. For 5 years, I've been saying big donors are paying Republicans to pass speech laws and do things for a foreign country. And Trump just admitted it on a stage. So there's no bashing. I'm not anti that country. I just like my country. I want politicians in my country to not sell out my country. Is that anti the other country to you? Is that what that like? Do you think if you're American, you have to be completely subservient and sell your country out or else you hate? Because I get what you're saying, because that is how people think. They're like, if I can't get everything, you're being hateful. It's like, okay, if you say so. I mean, not really, but I don't want this to be misconstrued as any hate, but like same with the Saudi thing. I'm not telling people what. I just noticed that he's allowed to basically take over an entire sport and no one seems to care. So I want the rules to be defined. Like clearly I don't have like real freedom. So just like someone needs to explain the rules to me, like who's allowed to take over sports, who's not, who's allowed to own media companies, and you're not allowed to say they own it, or, like just let me know the rules. I guess the anti-Semitism rules are the rules. Like you can't say the people who own banks and media own banks and media. Got it. You can't say that people have loyalty to Israel, even though they do. Got it. So, but these, now I just have to live a lie, I guess. But at least if people are like straightforward about it, then I'll be like, okay, I get it. Someone said you're explaining, not bashing. No matter what people say or write, I've never been anti-Israel. I'm not anti-Israel. I'm not anti-Ukraine. I'm just reporting reality. I'm American. I don't hate Ukraine. Does Ukraine need $1 trillion from America? Yeah, I'm hateful. Like now it's starting to seem like borderline extortion. It's like, you hate me unless I could take all the money. It's like, yeah, is that how it works? I like Ukrainians. I like Ukraine. Like I can't say I like everybody. Like same with Russia. There's some shitty Russians. There's some cool Russians. It is what it is. That's the world. Like I don't think everyone's perfect, but it's like borderline. Like if you don't give hundreds of billions of dollars to Zelensky, you hate him and it's hateful. Okay, just it's like being robbed. Take my money. Yeah, I'm totally not. Yeah, it's the same with Israel. I don't hate Israel. I think it has a right to exist. I think it has a right to defend itself. I think it has a right to fight wars. I don't know. I'm not Middle Eastern. Lebanon, these people, even before Israel got there, they've been fighting for thousands of years. Israel got there and the Jewish people got there, and then they fought with them because now they're in the middle of a bunch of Arabs and, they kind of took the land. I don't know. They pretend like they didn't or something because they were there before, but, now they're there. So, of course, there's going to be conflict. I'm not telling Israel they can't do this or they can't do that or they can't do this, but it's like, if you're going to blow up pagers in a foreign country and then you're going to call everybody anti-Semitic in America and then you're going to basically say it's hate speech to boycott goods from that place when you're blowing up other people's stuff, it's like, it's just a little weird. Like if you want to pass speech laws in America that say that it's hate speech to say that big donors are paying Trump, I'm not hateful towards a people or a country. Israel has the right to exist and defend itself and fight wars. But if hundreds of billions of US taxpayer dollars go to it, now I get to have an opinion on it. It's like if somebody borrows $50,000 from you and then they don't want to hear, and I say, get a job. And they're like, you shouldn't tell me what to do. Then you shouldn't take my money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell people what to do, but if you owe me money, now I'm going to look into your life and be like, how are we going to make a plan to get my money back? With Israel, it's like, it's not up to me what they do with their country and their land. But if it's like, I'm hateful and I'm being so hateful and I'm bashing if I believe in the First Amendment, I'm bashing if I don't want to send US troops all over the world. Like it's not only just wanting to send them there at this time when we're already spread so thin. It's like we're starting a global war. World War III has, started and we're on the super gay side. I'm not trying to be funny, but it is kind of funny. But it's like Ukraine is like way gayer than Russia. Russia's like building churches. Ukraine's like kicking out pastors and passing LGBTQ laws like Justin Trudeau. It's like, wow, what a cool ally, Zelensky just comes over here at the height of like 5 foot tall and he's just like running around, like watching people sign bombs and just getting hundreds of billions of dollars. It's like, cool. It's just like, I'm not being hateful. It's just like, this is what, and I don't know who this guy is in the chat, but it's like, and I'm not trying to stereotype because like I said, it's not all black and white. Like I just told you. And the reason I said that this guy was Jewish, just to show you that it goes the other way. It's like the guy that got his soccer team stolen from him, he was Jewish, but he had ties to Russia. They didn't care that he was Jewish. They weren't like, oh, he's one of us. They were like, no, take his shit. Like we can't be trusted because he's not with the West or whatever. I'm not saying everybody's in on it. It's all the same. I'm just speaking the reality of like what's going on. And it's like certain people, not all, But a lot of people that are Zionists, they can't just be like, oh, that's what you think. This is what I think. They're like, not all, but a lot. It's like, if you don't support the speech laws, if you don't call everything anti-Semitic, if you don't want to give money here, if you don't want to fight every war, if you notice certain patterns that are obviously true that we're going to say are hate speech, then you're so hateful. It's like it's basically like a holdup. It's like, if you don't agree with every one of my policies and platforms that obviously aren't true, that then you're being hateful. It's like, I'm not hateful. You could lie all you want. You could say, I don't hate it. I don't think that it shouldn't exist or couldn't exist, or it's not like I go to freaking like Belarus and I'm like, you should be that, and Slovakia should be Czech Republic. I'm Czechoslovakian and I don't give a fuck about that. Excuse my language, but it's like, they split up. If they get back together, I don't give a fuck. If they fight, I wouldn't like it, but I don't want to fund it. It's like, I don't care about the entire world. I'm not like the world police, but America clearly is. So it's like, when it comes to Israel and Lebanon and stuff, I never said Israel can't do this or that, but most Zionists, they come to you and they're basically like, if you're this, that, like that, yeah, I'm hateful unless I want speech laws in my country. If I say that donors pay off both parties, that's anti-Semitism. If I say that, that like anybody owns a company, then that's hate speech. It's like, this is not a fair dialogue. It's basically like everybody's trying to pressure everybody into lying on their behalf, or, act like it's not happening. It's not, there's nothing hateful or bashing. It's just the reality. I'm not even bashing that. This is the other thing that's annoying too. I don't even bash Israel. I'm talking about US politicians, our speech laws, our government. And why I talk about it almost every stream is because that's literally what's happening. So it's like, if you don't understand that, it would be like being a Republican and still thinking like Mitt Romney was cool. It's like, you're so far behind in the conversation. There's no point in even talking. Like, you're 20 years in the past. Like, this is the reality of the US politics. And I'm trying to correct the record too, because if you watch 95% of Republican podcasts, they're going to say what Trump is saying, where they're like, yeah, Israel's not going to exist in 2 years if Trump went. Israel doesn't care whether Trump wins or not. Maybe they want him to win, maybe they don't. But whether he wins or not, look who's in the White House now. Joe Biden. Allegedly, what's going on? Money's being sent to them. US troops are being sent to them. No one's stopping Netanyahu from doing anything because they can't. They can't stop him. They're not going to. They don't want to. So I'm just being honest. If you're pro-Israel, this should be good news for you. It's like, I know you think that if Trump wins, that it's going to save the day, and if Biden wins, then it's going to go. It's not true. You should be happy about this. You should be like, good. This is one policy that it's not going to dramatically shift as much as Republicans are saying. That's just the reality of the situation. I can't listen to other people. They're not like, it's not like they're not bashing. People will say, oh, they're being so. No, they're lying. They're just literally lying to you. It has nothing to do with being nice or mean. Like, they're lying. I'm telling the truth. It is what it is. Someone said Kamala sent aid, not Trump. Kamala sent more aid now because the war broke out, but every year they get a couple $2 billion, and no one's ever going to stop that, because if you ever stop the money, they'll just call you anti-Semitic. Someone said Anomaly just talks, he stands for nothing. Your IQ is probably just a little too low for this conversation. It's okay, my guy. Read some books, come back. But it's like, that's the type of situation. If US is giving aid somewhere, it's actually genius. I get why they scam people like this guy, because they just look at you like you're stupid, and they're right. But it's like, if you could just get billions of dollars a year and then say it's hateful if you don't get the money, it's actually really smart, because then you got like Republicans like this guy. He's like, oh, he's being so hateful. It's like, all right, bro. Like, yeah, you're so hateful unless you funnel money to them every year when they want your money. Yeah, if you don't give the money, you're being like totally hateful. It's like they probably like laugh at you, and they're like, this guy's so dumb, and he's like, everybody who doesn't want to do this is so hateful. It's like, all right, dude. But if Trump was in office and the war broke out, he would give the money too, He's not campaigning on, I'm not going to give them money. He's campaigning on, I'll give them whatever they want. But Trump is also campaigning on trying to stop the wars. Here's the thing, though. I want to see him try. I want to see Trump win, and I want to see what he does. I hope he has success in all of these countries, but it's going to be dicey. I mean, if he tries to stop the war in Ukraine, look what they're trying to do to him. I personally believe that's why they're people are trying to kill Trump. I mean, this last shooter literally kind of shows that. I thought that before I learned this, and I'm not just saying this. I thought to myself, why are they doing this? I thought it, and then all the information came out. He fought in Ukraine. He did this. That's why they don't like Trump. A lot of these wars are connected too. I mean, not identically, but it's like Trump's like, oh, I'll fund this war, but I'll stop this war, and they don't want that. They don't want him to ramp down tensions. But here's the thing: when it comes to Ukraine, how long are they going to fight? They're not going to be able to beat Russia. Like, how are you going to beat Russia as Ukraine? Like, how are you going to win? What are you going to do? I'm sure they want to do to Putin what they're trying to do to Trump. Kill him. In my opinion, that's the only way. Like, they're not going to just like fight Russia and win. They probably have some plan to do that, I would guess, because it's like, look how big Russia is. Look how big its military is. It's got ties to other countries. Like, they're not even doing that much to that. Israel's having more success. I don't know, like, depending what you call success, but like Israel against Lebanon, like Israel, I don't know. That's another one though too, is like, I don't know how they could blow things up and shoot missiles, but like, what are they going to do? Palestine, they could kill them easily, I guess, because they don't really have that much weaponry, but like Israel has a way better chance of accomplishing what it wants to accomplish in that region, because Israel's kind of stacked and has a lot of technology. Ukraine to Russia, like Ukraine, that's a dicey war to take on. And I'm not saying the other one is like great or anything. I'm just being like on a scale of like, Israel versus Palestine. Palestine has no chance. Israel versus Lebanon. Lebanon has more of a chance, but not really. Now, this is the one they really want to start: Israel versus Iran. Iran has 80 million people or something. So it's like, that's not a war we want to start, but that's a war that Israel wants to start, and Israel needs America to back it in that war if they start it. But, is that a war? You want the U.S. funneling money and weaponry to Ukraine, fighting Russia? That's an unwinnable war. I don't care what they say. And then you want America fighting 4 different countries in the Middle East for Israel. Like, this is not good for America. I'm sorry. It's just not. I don't think it is, but we're so deep in it now. I guess that's like the logic. Like, we're so deep that you can't pull out. Maybe Trump could like finesse a negotiation or something. Negotiation. Someone said, dude sounds subdued. When people say this, I'm not even like offended, because I like conversation and like debate. Like, can you like tell me what you think is right and that you think I'm not saying, right? Because you're like, he's subdued, he's always hating. I'm not mad, or like, I'm just like, can you articulate something that makes more sense than what I'm saying? Because then I'll read it. But I just want to like, people always say this stuff, and it's like, okay, the floor is yours to say something more important or less subdued, since I'm being so subdued. What do you think? Like, tell us what you think. And then we'll see how smart it is. Someone should direct Anomaly to the Albert Pike letter. I feel like I've read it a long time ago, but I've known for years now too with Israel. Like, I've known they wanted more land. Like, if you do enough research, like they want more land. I know like the PragerU talking points have always been like, they just want to defend themselves. Bro, they want to defend themselves and they want more land. Like, it is what it is. Maybe you just want the land and you're just honest about it. You're like, yeah, let's just take the land. Let's get the people. I have more respect for that than people that are constantly like, no, we're just trying to do this. It's like, kind of, but also kind of, I think they've had a plan to take more land for a while. And every time the donors go to Trump, they're like, give us more land. Like, it's like Trump's always like, I'm pretty sure it's been published in multiple media things that Trump's biggest donor is literally asking him to get Israel the West Bank. So an American donor is paying Trump to get foreign land for a foreign country. It is what it is. If you like Israel, you're like, hell yeah, let's get that land. If you don't, you're like, that's messed up. I'm not hating. I'm just telling you what's happening. Like, people can deny it all they want, but it's still going to happen because that's what's happening. Like, I know you're not going to hear this on most podcasts, but it's like, it is what it is. Hopefully you like this one because I'm saying it. Someone said, Anomaly, it's obvious these people are low IQ. Yeah, but it's fun to like hear what people are saying. Like, when Conservative Mama came on, I loved that because I was like, I've been talking about this stuff for years. Nobody wants to talk to me. I get banned from conservative events. I'm pretty much blacklisted from Republican media. they've X'd me out of all these opportunities, and I'm not crying about it. I'm not like, I don't want what they want. I'm not in this for what they want. So it doesn't, I'm not saying it because I'm like, so like, when I talk about how I've been blacklisted and stuff, it's not like, poor me, I'm such a victim. I want to be famous and I want to, poop my pants next to Ben Shapiro. That's not what it is. It's just like, I'm annoyed because then these people are like, I'm so right and you're so wrong. And I'm like, all right, let's have a conversation about it. They're like, no, get away from me. Yeah, like, all right, dude. Like it's more of that. So when conservative mama sits down, that's all I want. I'm like, sweet. Somebody that disagrees with me is willing to come on and actually have an intellectual debate about it. And look how that went. I mopped the floor with her. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like, she's like, are you saying that's a hateful conspiracy theory that people own media companies? And it's like, no, I didn't say that. I said what I just said. And what I said is donors are paying Trump to pass hate speech laws and do things for a foreign country. I'm trying to think of like a nicer way to say it. I'm a pretty nice guy. Like, is there a nicer way to say that? Can somebody let me know? I don't know. Like, get in the ring, get in the zone, auto zone. I'm just kidding. This is not an ad. They do not sponsor me. So I just thought of that. Get in the zone, auto zone, fix your car and fix your life. Get out of here now. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. Someone said Kamala might win. She might. I hope she doesn't, though. See, I know Trump is pissing everybody off, like even certain people, but it's like, at least he just like says stuff, like Trump, you could say 50% of what he says is the truth or 70% or 80%, but you have to admit at least half of what Trump says is true, probably more. With Kamala, everything's a lie. She's not telling the truth about anything. So it's like, I don't want that anymore. I know some people are mad at Trump and they're like, I don't care anymore because he supports them and whatever. I get it. I understand that. I'm not going to hate on people because everybody has their opinion, but I just can't, like, Democrats just do nothing for me. Trump, at least he'll come up there and he'll be like, yeah, I'm taking a bunch of money and I do things for Israel. It's like, yeah, that's literally what he's doing. Like, that is what he's doing. Like, at least he says it. You think Kamala is going to come out and say that? No, she's going to be like, we think Palestine and Israel should have a two-state solution. And no one cares. Like, they're still going to get the money. They're going to do what they want. If Israel wants that, then they'll get that. Like, it's not up to Kamala. Like, she's like, I want a two-state solution. And they're like, yeah, no, like they don't, like, Kamala, Biden, I don't think they have that much sway. Because I think, in my opinion, the politicians in Israel they know that they have so much control over America that it's like, yeah, no, we're going to get our way now, and then we're going to get it later. And then when you're out of office, our policy is still going to be there when you're not there, and I know you're not supposed to say that, but like, that's what they're thinking. I'm pretty sure they're not like, oh, Kamala Harris doesn't want to give us what we want. Oh no, we can't get it in America now. You think they think that? Of course not. They're like, we'll get it, Kamala. We'll get it now. We'll get it next week. We'll get it next month. We'll get it later. We'll get it when Trump's in. We'll get it when the next guy's in. When DeSantis is in, we'll get it. RFK, we got that too. We got it. So it doesn't matter what you say or what you think, because we're going to get it now, and then we're going to get it later. It is what it is. If you like that country, then you're like, hell yeah, that's how we got it. But I know it, like, you're not supposed to say that that's how it is, but like, that's kind of just how it is. And I don't know. I'm not a liar. So someone said Kamala is just an avatar. She's a laughy avatar. She's like, ha 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 ha. She's like so nervous all the time. She's like, if I laugh, he'll go. It's like, nobody told a joke. Do you think she laughs when she goes to comedy shows? Like, do you think she likes actual jokes, or do you think she just laughs at like random times? You're at dinner with her and they come and they're like, hello, ma'am, what would you like to eat for dinner? We have a steak tartare. We have a ribeye, you would like medium rare. And she goes, and they're like, are you all right, lady? Like, it's just the specials. And she's like, specials? Oh, I like special things. Are we filming this? Tim Walls, you throw me a bag of Takis or Cheetos? And he's like, how about some Ruffles? Ruffles? That's what I wanted. It's like, you didn't want that. You just said you wanted the other thing. Like, just stop. Like, if I say I want like sour cream and onion chips, that's what I want. I'm not going to like, oh, just throw me Bugles. It's like, no, I said sour cream and onion. That's what I'm in the mood for. I'm not, it's like if you order something at a store and they give you a totally, like, you order a steak and they give you a chicken. It's like, yeah, I like chicken, but I wanted the steak. Like, that's why you go and order things. Like, There's that video of her with Tim Walz where she's like, yo, throw me Cheetos. And he throws her Doritos. And she's like, Doritos? I love these. This is what I think this is what I wanted the whole time. Are you filming this? Like, we're just at a gas station. Like, we're just like you poor people. It's like, ew. I'm over her. Get her out of here. At least Trump will be like, I drink Diet Coke. I drink Diet Coke 5 times a day. I love Diet Coke. I'm on a diet. I've been on a diet for a long time. Some say the best diet. I'm the best dieter. I play golf, hole in one. No big deal. I'm one of the best. I have lots of trophies. It's not a big deal. When I give money to Israel, some say it's the best donation ever. I give it and they say, wow, that was so big. And I was like, yeah, I do everything big. What's the deal? You know, I'm in the mood for some of that. I'm over the whole Kamala thing. But anyway, let's get back to the show. My Kamala impression is it's all right. Someone said Kamala's brain chipped. That would be interesting. Maybe. Someone said everyone knows pork rinds are the way to go to gas station. I'm trying not to eat pork though, but you know, bacon kind of slips its way onto my plate every now and then. I'm like, whoa, what's the bacon doing on that cheeseburger? And then I look around, you know. I'm just kidding. No one cares. So, you ever been with like a vegan where they act like they're always like cheating on their diet, but they're always like, you know, I'm not supposed to eat cheese, but like I guess this one time it's like I've seen you eat cheese like 5 times this week, but it's okay. I don't care. It's just, let's be honest. I'm Dick Cheney. How am I Dick Cheney? Is anybody got like good arguments? You know, that's mad. I want to see some opposition. Give me like a good talking point. You can make beef bacon. You could do a lot of things in this world, but I'm not that desperate for bacon. There's other things. Someone said, thoughts on how Ian Carroll blew up so fast? He's everywhere now. I feel like he's a Fed being used to distract, similar to Alex Jones. Yeah, I mean, that's someone said that. I don't want to be accused of calling him that. I think he does good videos. I mean, I don't know who he is or what his intentions are, but to me, I think personally, like if I were to guess, I think he blew up because his videos are just really good. Like if you watch his videos when he like goes in on certain topics, he's very good at explaining it, showing proof, and then getting out of the way, you know? Kind of similar to what I've done. Like when I make my Instagram reels and stuff, he's not like, sometimes you see these people where they're just like super inaccurate, you know, where they're like, I don't know. I think it's like the Wallaces or something. It's like this guy, Matt Wallace, and his wife. They just tweet whatever. And I'm not saying everything they say is wrong, but like they're going to be like, tomorrow it's all going to go down. And it's like that type of shit is not what Ian does. You know, Ian's more like, here's what I'm saying. Here's what happened. Here's the proof. Here's the reality of it. I'm out. So, you know, I'm not surprised. Personally, I'm not surprised that he blew up. I think his videos they're just really good. But, you know, I don't know. If you want to think people are someone else, that's on you. But I don't think that of him or accuse him of that. I think if anyone figured out how to make videos as good as he did, I think they would blow up too, personally, because like he's good at doing important topics that most people won't talk about and doing it in a way where he's not glazing it or he's not like just talking about it without explaining it and showing proof. People like that. Yeah, I just think he does good stuff. With me too, I mean, I can't really speak for him or his journey, but I do think he makes great videos. And I think over the last year or two, he's done some of the best videos as far as like using social media to get messages out there and get people to want to follow him and stuff. I was able to, I think, algorithm, like, you know, once I got a little bit of a following, I was able to scale my following pretty big, like on Facebook, 1.6 million, Instagram, 500,000. You know, people can say what they want about me, but I know that once I got people's attention and once I got it there, I have the formula to make a video, especially at that time. Like I don't make videos that much like that. It's a personal preference. Just like I don't want to spend that much time editing, but you know, I think if I did make more videos like that, I would probably get as many views as I used to as well, or at least closer to there. It's just with me, I'm trying to figure out like where I want to go with it. I don't want to spend like 10 hours a day editing. I got to get a team and stuff. But Someone said, is he the P. Diddy guy? Ian has done a lot of videos. He talks about P. Diddy. He talks about Israel. He talks about the Las Vegas shooting. I've seen him talk about a lot of different topics, but if you watch his videos, like, it's hard to come away from it thinking like, oh, he's lying, like he's just kind of just showing you what's going on. And then he's like, I'm not trying to say anything, but look at this and look at this and look at this and look at that. People like that stuff. Cause for me, I like his videos. I mean, I don't watch them like all the time, but when I see a video of his that I actually do watch, I come away with it thinking, yeah, he's just showing the reality and making it in a very convincing, honest way. I'm more into stuff like that. I think most people are. Like, there's a lot of people out there that they're just like, I want to find this one guy. Like, I don't want to like shit on this guy because then he'll talk shit about me or something and lie about me. But there's a level of like, I think there's another account I saw on Twitter too that was being like, a lawyer came from Kim Kardashian saying to like shut it down, and he's like, I'm not gonna stop. And everyone's like, wow, you're so brave. And here's the thing. It's like the truth is the truth and a lie is a lie, right? So is Kim Kardashian connected to the elites and stuff? Obviously. Do I trust the Kardashian family? No, not really. But like, am I just going to make up some shit about Kim that's not true? No, if I say something about Kim Kardashian, I'm going to be honest about it and show proof. There's a lot of accounts out there that are like, Kim Kardashian's getting raided by the FBI as we speak. And it's like, I don't think that's true, and like I hate accounts like that. It reminds me of like the Q people, where a lot of things they're saying are valid, but there's this self-righteous douchey energy to somebody that's just out there just like lying all the time, where it's like, P. Diddy got arrested. P. Diddy's connected to a lot of people. Show your proof of what you know and then make a convincing argument. But if you're just going to be like, this person's now getting raided as we speak, it's like, you're literally just lying. And now the truth never really gets out there because you have the media covering it up. You have the industry that's in on it. And then you have these truthers that are constantly just lying to everybody, like sending them in all these different directions. To me, Ian doesn't do that. That's why he's getting so popular. But there's a lot of accounts where they're literally just like, another one I saw, like they were saying that Aaron Carter was just about to expose them when he died. I wasn't best friends with Aaron or anything, but I've met him through a friend and stuff. And I had a friend who worked with him. I don't know him that well. I'm not acting like I'm so connected or whatever. That's not the point of it. But in general, it's like, even if you just watch Aaron from afar, he had an issue. Like he started an OnlyFans account. He looked terrible in his last couple of videos. He was doing a lot of drugs. If you actually like Aaron Carter and follow him or know anything, you would know that like, yeah, I know that. I think he's a good person and I think he meant well. And he did say a lot of stuff that was honest. But dude, Aaron was like getting run through. Like he was on Adam 22 and these type of podcasts, and he just looked terrible because he was like abusing drugs to the point where he looked like a skeleton. He looked like he was about to die. And he started an OnlyFans account and started like whoring out porn to make money, which is really sad because Aaron was a pop star. So this is all I'm saying. I'm not saying Aaron was a bad guy. He wasn't. I'm not saying he didn't know anything. But it's like all these accounts that are like, he was just about to expose. No, he abused drugs and he died. Like, that's just, you could lie and convince people, but it's like, why do you have to do that? P. Diddy really got arrested. There's other people that really were involved. Why do you have to make up something that's not true in order to fight for the truth? This is why I don't like get involved in this stuff anymore. Cause people are like, I don't know. There's a lot of like truthers that literally they just pathologically lie. They're horrible people. And then they convince themselves that them lying to everybody constantly and sending out diversions is them fighting for the truth. It's like, there are some people that I'm sure were doing this and that, and then they got killed. And there's way more theories of like certain people that it's way more believable where it's like, yeah, he was just about to do that and they killed him. But like Aaron Carter was like really fucked on drugs and looked like for months, he looked like horrible. I watched interviews with him like a month, 2 before he died. And I was like, dude, he's going to die soon. Like he's just doing way too many drugs. He looks really pale and just like he's doing literally like OnlyFans accounts. It got like really sad and really dark, but I don't know. Someone asked if I was on I was at a freak out. No, luckily, I never got signed or anything. And I don't know everything how it works because I wasn't in that deep. But when I was 19, 20, 21, I told people I had certain like label meetings. My guess based on everything is how they do it is like they want people that listen. And if you're not like a total pushover, you just don't get in the door. And this has happened to me with conservative media and podcasting as well. It's like when I was 21 and 22 and I had meetings with labels, they first try to talk down to you, right? They try to make you feel really small. Like they don't hype you up. Like maybe they would have hyped me up if I had like a number one song and they really wanted to sign me. You understand what I'm saying? Like say like Post Malone, he already blew up. He's going to get labels being way nicer to him because he's already like so famous before he signed the deal. So he has so much leverage that they like want his money. But if you don't have a hit already, they try to make you feel super small and shitty in order to get you to sign a shitty deal. Like, we could do this and that with this person. Like, you're cool. We believe in you, but like, you should take, 15% and give us 85%. Like, that's what they try to do to me, is give me a shitty deal. And I was just like, no, I'm not interested. And then it just like, it ended. So I think, that's kind of a process. And I've seen that at conservative media too, where it's just one of these things where I think, I'm not going to say like well, first of all, you pretty much can't work in conservative media if you even remotely know anything about what's going on between the relationship of America and Israel. You're not allowed to be hired. Like the whole thing is like, you have to just like be like, yeah, I don't see the speech laws. And I think it's a hateful conspiracy theory to say that donors are paying off our party. It's like, that's conservative media. But also it's like, I think they like people that will play the game. So when they give you bad contracts or they talk to you in a douchey way, I think that's their way of trying to see what a bitch you are, because it's like, say they give you a shitty deal, they talk down to you, they run you through the ringer, and you're still like, how desperate are you for money, for fame, for what they have? If you're, like I said, there is a leverage thing too. Like even with Candace Owens, when Candace Owens signed to Daily Wire, I don't know the specifics, but she was already really famous. Like Brett Cooper, who I'm sure she loves the Daily Wire. They've been great to her, but they kind of like helped make her famous. Like she wasn't really a thing, but then she became a thing. There's nothing wrong with it. She seems like a nice lady. I'm just saying like Candace probably got a way sicker deal at first, because when you have leverage, whether it's music or industry stuff, like now you don't have to sign to them, so they have to pay you or be nice to you. But I think there's probably some people that had industry deals that were fine, but I think that's kind of how it works, is they hold power over you, and it works when, either, I think the sad ones are when people are really young, because you can't shame like a young kid. Like if someone gets into the industry like Usher or Justin Bieber, and I don't know what happened to them, but you get what I'm saying? Like you don't shame like, oh, you should have known it, you were 13. It's like, no, they're 15, 13, whatever. Like those are the ones that probably get taken advantage of in a lot of senses, business wise, and obviously in some cases probably more than that. Because they're so young and like they don't, just easy to take advantage of. But if you're older, I think they prey on people that don't have like a soul. I know that sounds weird, or I don't know. I can't think of another way to really say it. But when I was 20, 21, 22, I didn't have like my parents paying attention or anything, but I had a soul. Like I didn't want money. I didn't want women. I can't explain it, because most people, they want money, they want cars, they want all this stuff. I wanted my message, and I wanted to be like an authentic, like a respected person. That was more important to me than money and cars and stuff. So anytime they tried to throw stuff in my face, I think like I just was like, no. But if you're the type of person that wants really badly money and cars and clothes and all that stuff, then it's easy to like sell out, because then you're like, yeah, I want to do this stuff. But anytime I put up a block, they just like got mad at me. Like any label or any company that ever like wanted to do stuff, they just talk to me douchey, and I'd be like, don't talk to me that way. Or like, no, I don't want to do that. And that happens in media too. Like the last time I dealt with a conservative media company, their team was just talking to me like they didn't respect what I built or respect what I had. They were almost trying to make me feel small so they could get leverage over me. Like they were talking to me just super like douchey. Like, like I don't like douchey. I like people that are just straightforward and honest. That shit doesn't work with me. But my guess is this too. If you're like a mixtape guy on the street and you're selling mixtapes, being nice doesn't sell the mixtape. The best way strategically to sell stuff is to just like shove it in people's face and be a dick. Because even though it's annoying to most people will just be like, all right, fine. Like, most people are pushovers, so they do that sort of stuff. With certain people in the industry, they came from like MLM insurance sales. So it's like that's their whole business, is like hyping it up and just being like ridiculously aggressive about it, because ridiculously aggressive and over the top makes a lot of sales, like statistically. With me, I hate it. It will never work. But with most people, if you just push and you treat them like shit, or you lie to them, make it a whole thing, then they're willing to buy, or they're willing to get it. So I think I don't know. I hate, like, I'm so tired of people talking to me that way and treating me that way. It's so weird, but it just never stops. So I don't know what they're doing to other people. I never got in that deep, like in rap, like the industry. I never got signed to a label. No one ever gave a shit about me, but I would assume that it's a lot of either getting people when they're dumb. But I do ultimately, I think it's on you to just like not be a total pushover though, and like figure it out. But I would think with someone like, say, like Justin Bieber, he was super talented. He probably would have been successful, but I think this guy Scooter Braun was his manager, and they made him super famous. Once you get to that point, like it's like anything, like politics. Like there's always like these gatekeepers, whether it's like the label owner, or certain people own almost everything. You know what I'm saying? They own the labels. If you piss off the wrong person, like just look at Kanye West. I think he's performing in China now. Why is he performing in China? It's not just that he likes Chinese people. He can't perform in a lot of places in America because he pissed off the people who run the music industry. That like it. So I don't know what these people are dealing with necessarily, but it's like, even if you're powerful and you have leverage and stuff, there's just certain gatekeepers that you can't really cross. As a Republican, like, people think, oh, Republicans are so honest. Yeah, Thomas Massey does well, but for the most part, everyone else is kind of just like playing a certain game. I don't know that they have to, though. It's definitely like there's a lot of pressure, but I don't think people are victims. And, I think at the end of the day, a lot of people, they play the game because they value money, fame, and those type of things over their own soul. So like Harvey Weinstein, I'm sure he's a gatekeeper that like nobody could get past. And it's like, yeah, in some ways he was just being a dick to everybody, and like you couldn't get around it. But this is another thing too, is like, how bad do you want to be famous? How bad do you want to be in the movie? I think a lot of people, they want it so bad. With me, I'm not trying to overly compare or judge other people, but like I just told myself, I'll do it on my own. I know you can't do that as an actor. It's hard to like make your own movie and get the thing, but I don't know. That's what it takes sometimes, is like you got to have such a strong intuition that you're like, I'm not playing the game. I'm not listening. I'm not going there. I'm not doing that. Most people will do it. They'll do it, and then they'll be like, oh, someone made me do it. And it's like, no, you wanted the money. You wanted the role. You wanted the record deal. TLC ended up broke, they say. How did they end up broke? They signed some sort of shitty deal. I don't know what deal they signed, but at the end of the day, like, they signed it. So yeah, the label's probably fucked over TLC, but why did they sign such a bad deal? Or like, how did they not renegotiate? I don't know the specifics of it, but it must have been really bad. They made a lot of money. They sold a lot of records. They did a lot of shows. And apparently TLC, Tony Braxton, these people ended up broke. I would have to look at their contract to see it, but one thing is too, I probably explained this in another live stream, but any record deal, like when labels just throw money at you, it's always in advance. This was the thing with Steven Crowder's deal, and I got really into that because Crowder and Shapiro, I have no bias. I don't really like either of them, to be honest. But I would say before that, I kind of did like Crowder more, but I didn't let my bias cloud me because I thought Crowder was wrong about that situation. I'm not saying it was the greatest deal in the world or whatever, but the thing is, like, it's the same thing with music, and it actually makes sense. Like, they were giving Crowder a lot of money in return for something else. Like, Crowder's so stupid, or Crowder's so used to just being pampered by other people, where he's like, oh, they should just pay me and I shouldn't have to do anything. Why would they give you tens of millions of dollars, like, for nothing? Like, if Jeremy Boring or whoever's going to give you tens of millions of dollars, they want to own your shit, or else they wouldn't give you the money. They can't just afford to throw money at you for no reason. I'm like, he was such a liar when it came to all that stuff, where he's like, oh, I got to do this or I lose $250,000. You got to do a photo shoot 4 times a year, so you lose $250,000. Show up to 4 photo shoots and you make $250,000. If not, they take it away. That's not a crazy clause. Like, they're not paying you to just fuck around. If you sign a big contract, there's deliverables. Like, he was being so dishonest about that. And this is, I don't even like Daily Wire. I'm just being honest. And that's what an artist cash advance is in the music industry. It's a loan. It's literally a loan. I can explain it this way because it's the easiest way I know. Say they give you a $5 million cash advance, and then they do a 50-50 deal where you own 50% and they own 50%. The $5 million they gave you is a loan. They're not just giving you money. Like, why would they just give you money? I mean, it's nice to think about, oh, they're signing me. For what in return? It's a loan. So the first $5 million you make, you're paying back the loan. But this is where people get broke because they don't understand how it works. So if you have a $5 million cash advance, right? They give you $5 million. You got to pay it back. And the first $5 million you get, it's not paying it back because the first $5 million you get, if it's a 50-50 deal, they get $2.5 million and then you get $2.5 million. But this is how it works. You make $5 million, they get $2.5 million, they get your $2.5 million. So you made $5 million, but you're still $2.5 million in the hole. You have to make $10 million in order to pay back the $5 million loan if it's a 50-50. You get what I'm saying? Say you make $10 million. They get $5 million, and then they get your $5 million. Now you're even. You have the $5 million that they gave you, so you're still rich, and now you split it 50-50. That's how these deals go. But it's like with the Daily Wire one. I don't even like Jeremy Boring or Daily Wire and anything, and they would never sign me because I tell the truth about topics that they lie about and put Matt Walsh on a leash for. But that deal was not that bad. It was not bad at all. And it could have been negotiated. Like, if you get a deal like that, you can start negotiating certain topics. But to be like, oh, they wanted to own this and that. Duh, bro. If you sign a $50 million whatever contract, it's the same thing with like football. They'll give you $70 million, but it's because they're making more money and now they own your jersey and they could sell it for the rest of your, like, it's a trade-off. I'm not saying they're all fair, but my point is this, is like, if you're broke after a huge deal, like, what happened? Like, what did you sign? I don't know. I didn't sign it. It's hard for me to like sympathize with these people because I've always said no. They always take the money. They always take the easy route. They always get the label to push them. And then these labels actually have a point. It's like they're spending all this money on you. And then you think you're just this rock star, like you did it all by yourself. If you could have done it by yourself, why didn't you do it by yourself? Taylor Swift couldn't have done it by herself. That's why she went with a major label. And then she's crying, oh, I don't own my records and this and that. They can't just steal it. I mean, I guess they could if they like change your will or something, but or do it in a sneaky way. But in general, you sold the rights to your music and now you want it back. It's just like these people are delusional. They make hundreds of millions of dollars and then they're like, I don't know my stuff. Well, that's how you got there. You traded it for the fame and the budget. Now this label, they spent $15 million on you. Now you made $100 million. Now you're like, oh, I could have done it on my own. You absolutely couldn't have, And this is why I don't have sympathy for that, because I did it on my own. I turned down the deals. I never took a media deal. And I actually made it on my own. It's not easy. These people couldn't do it. I don't think Crowder could have done it on his own. I don't think Taylor Swift could have done it on their own. They want to use the machine to make the money. And then they want to say the machine stole from them. It's like, you don't use it then, don't plug into the machine or use your leverage to plug into a different machine like he did. And he made a shitload of money. It's just like, someone said Prince was smart with the name change thing. Yeah, that was his way, I think, to get out of like the deal. Michael Jackson tried to get out of his deal. I think Candace has done a lot of videos on that, but I don't know exactly what she covered, but I do know that Michael Jackson, like he owned some of the Beatles stuff. He was trying to finesse his way out of certain deals, and he was talking shit about like Tommy Mottola. I remember seeing that video a while ago. Thank you, Constance. I appreciate it. Someone said, can't give your energy to BS distractions. That's the key to creating your own positive environment. For sure. I think no matter what you do, I think your attitude and your mindset will determine a lot of it. Like how determined are you? How passionate are you? How much persistence do you have? It's like all those things. Can you be confident enough to keep going, but lower your ego enough to know when you're wrong and know when you need to turn? It's not easy, especially in this world. Like things, when you're on the outside, especially like if you're on the inside, that's the thing about a machine too. Like when you're plugged into like the Daily Wire or something, they have lawyers, they have editors. Like it's nice to be plugged into a machine. I wanted to go off about this too, because I like Matt Walsh, but he was like, I don't believe in sick days. I get it. And there's a lot of working people who would probably agree with him because he's like, sick days are lame, like you're sick, like go do your job. And it's like I know certain working people that are strong men that will probably agree with him too, where it's like, yeah, like just do it and do your job. But it's like, bro, Matt, well, I've been to the Daily Wire when Candace had a show. I was on her show. They had makeup people. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to do my show, I don't think Matt Walsh is even capable of doing what I'm doing. Like, I have to do all the editing, all the videos, all the research, all the production. I'm the production live. They got probably over a dozen people doing all the things that I'm doing by myself, and it's like, and they got a makeup person to make them. Yeah, it's easy to not be sick when you got a makeup person to make you look pretty like a woman, for your little show where you wear you wear like a checkered shirt like you're a lumberjack, but you really just sit in the studio like you're not chopping wood. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like you shouldn't take that many sick days and be lazy, but when you're like this pampered multi-million-dollar media guy who's got makeup people, it's like, yeah, and wears lumberjack shirts but doesn't chop wood. It's like it's easy to not miss a job because you're not really doing that much. You basically just have to sit there and talk while everyone else around you does the hard labor. But it is what it is. Someone said, "Oh, Anomaly, I had a dream. We were talking, and it was pretty funny. When I woke up, you were still talking. Good dream. We were discussing waterfalls. Maybe you just passed out 10 minutes ago because I was talking about TLC. I forget what I was talking about before that, but it's okay." Someone said, Matt Walsh couldn't handle doing it himself. A pit bull scares him. I've been wanting to weigh in on the pit bull thing for a while, but I haven't. Here's my opinion about pit bulls, and it might piss you off if you like pit bulls. I think you should be able to own a pit bull in America. I'm not trying to ban them or abolish them. Like I think you should be able to own it. But pit bull owners have to stop being so annoying and like self-righteous, where it's like if you own a pit bull, know the statistics, okay? They kill a lot of people, they kill a lot of kids. No matter how much you think they love you and they love everybody, the chances of them killing something are way higher than other dogs. It's not another dog. So I'm fine with pit bull, but you can't have it on a beach. Like I think if you have it on a beach without a leash, just running around kids, you should just be like arrested. I'm not saying they would do it, but it's like if your pit bull kills somebody else, you need to go to jail like you killed somebody else, and you can't have it running in the yard. Treat it, in my opinion, like it was a snake or an alligator or a lion. It's like, Joe Exotic can own a lion, but he doesn't walk his lion around the park. He's like, oh, it's just like everybody else's pet. It's not. It's a fucking lion. Put it in the cage and use the proper safety mechanisms. A pit bull is not as crazy as a lion, but it's not as not crazy as like a cute little Shih Tzu. So it's like, that should be the rule. It's like always have it on a leash. Don't like leave it in your yard. If you think it likes everybody, let it kill you in your house or eat your face or lick your kid's face or whatever. You can do that in your house, but you can't be parading it around like it's another dog. It's not. So like, stop, I'm not trying to outright ban it, but I do think that like, I hate when I see people have it off a leash or on the beach. It's like, fuck these people, like you wouldn't do that with other animals. Treat it like it's an alligator or a lion or a snake. Treat it like it's an exotic animal that you should not allow. Everything you do with it is on you. You can't bring your mindset into everybody else's, into the dog park, into the gym. I read comments on pit bull things where people are like, I let my pit bull run around the neighborhood. It's like, you're a fucking scumbag. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're such a scumbag. That's your pet. It's not the whole neighborhood's pet. Everybody knows the statistics. The one day it goes wrong and you didn't see it coming because of how it was built. Keep it to yourself. I'm not trying to take it away from you, but keep it on a fucking leash. Keep it in your backyard. Keep it in your house. It's always these douchebags that are like, oh, it runs around the neighborhood and everyone loves it. I guarantee you that most people don't like it and half your neighbors want to shoot it. And I'm not saying they should, but if it's running around your neighborhood, it's like, fuck you. Like put it in your house, put it in your yard, put it on a leash and do whatever you want in your space. Stop acting like it's just like everything else. I'm just going to let it off a leash and it's just running around. It's like, dude, you're such a scumbag. Like, how is that even I'm not telling you to ban them like Matt Walsh is, but then pit bull owners like, no, I want to take it to the beach out of leash. Fuck you, bro. I'm sure Joe Exotic wants to take his lion to the beach too, but he doesn't because he's not an idiot. He's like, it belongs in my cage. You know, it belongs at my place. This is not for everyone. Your pit bull's not for everyone. It's for your family. You want to do it. I don't want to be near pit bulls. I don't trust them. I don't like them. I've been bit before, not like traumatically, but I have been bit. Like, and then the owners always say the same thing. They're always like, oh, it's never done that before. I've never seen it do that before. I'm like, bro, it probably has done that 20 times. You're just a fucking liar. Like, stop lying. So yeah, I don't like them either, but I'm not going to like be a tyrant and ban them. But it's like pit bull owners can't compromise and be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Treat it like it's a lion, treat it like it's an exotic animal or something dangerous where everything I do with it with my family and my kids is my choice. But when I take it out in public, I need to not take it out in public, or I need to like have it like severely leashed up. It's so annoying. I went hiking with my buddy one time, like in Runyon Canyon, and his dog was like terrible. And he had like a thing for it, but he didn't put it on. And like Runyon Canyon, you got all these little cute dogs, right? That are walking around in Los Angeles. And his dog's like attacking all these other dogs. And I'm like, bro, put the thing on your dog. Like you got a bunch of little, your dog could fucking eat the other dog. These are like little tiny dogs. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. How did you not think of that idea though, bro? Like you're ruining this experience for everybody because your dog's attacking all the little cute dogs. The little cute dogs can run around in public because they're 2 feet tall and you could kick it off a mountain. You know what I'm saying? Your pit bull or your massive fucking dog that's like gnarling its teeth and biting everything. It's like, how do you not have the self-awareness to know that that's not a little Shih Tzu? You know, you got like a little puppy like that. You can bring it pretty much anywhere. You got a pit bull. You can't just bring it anywhere, bro. No matter how bad you want to pretend like you can't. You know, I'm sure there's bears and lions that are really well trained too, but you're not going to take it to the beach. You know, it's just like, so these people, that's the compromise. The people saying ban it, they're trying to ban it because they hate it. I don't like them either, but I'm not trying to ban it. It's just like, keep it on a leash, keep it away from other things, or else I think you should get charged with what it does. If a pit bull kills somebody else's kid, you should have to go to jail like you killed the kid because you're doing all this. So, oh, it ran out of my front yard and I had no idea. Bro, everyone else knows but you're just pathologically lying to yourself, acting like it's not true. They can be amazing. They can be sweethearts. The chances are you'll live with your life and it'll be great. But that, like, you go to bed with a pit bull in your house, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it eats your face at night, it probably won't. But if it does, you can do that. Just like Joe Exotic could play with lions, but you can't make everyone else play along to your little fantasy. You know, if they want to come over your house, they can. If they want, you know, but like letting it run. I posted about it one time on Facebook, and some guy was like, yeah, I let my pit bull run around the neighborhood. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's the worst fucking neighbor. Like, if my neighbor was just letting a pit bull run around, it's just like, oh, everybody loves it. And it's like, bro, you're such a douchebag. Like, you know what a douche move that is, to just let your pit bull roam around the neighborhood? It's probably already killed like 2 things. You just don't even know. I'm stupid. Richard, keep your pit bull to yourself, bro. Everybody else doesn't want it. Everybody else doesn't need to go along with your thing. It's the same with like certain restaurants. It's like no dogs allowed. Bro, if you want to hang out with your dog so bad, order Uber Eats. Everybody else doesn't want to do your shit. And that's another thing too, is like people are so lonely nowadays. They take their dog everywhere because they can't like leave it alone. It's like everyone's got to deal with your shit now. Even normal dogs. Like there's a place for a dog, and then there's not a place for your dog. Like people like you, they think that everybody has to put up with the shit that they put up with. Like, we don't want your dog everywhere all the time, especially if your dog has astronomical murder rates. Like, you know, treat it like that. You get to play with your dog. You get to tell yourself it's not that. Bringing it on everybody else, you're like, you're stupid. No, you're literally stupid. You're literally the stupid guy that everyone hates because you're forcing them to do things that they don't want to do. Because I don't even like seeing certain dogs at the beach. Like, when I go to the beach, I used to go to the beach, you didn't see that many dogs. Now, yeah, I was talking to my dad the other day too, and he's like, I went and my dad, you know, he's older than me. He's been around for a while. He's like, people used to not take their dogs everywhere. Now he's like, dogs are everywhere. People are taking it to the grocery store, to Costco. Like, there's just dogs everywhere. And it's like, dude, leave your fucking dog home. Take it on a walk, take it to a dog park, take it on a hike. but like people got to bring it everywhere. And then these are the people that'll be like, you're stupid. It's like, bro, I don't like, leave it to yourself. We don't want to put up with this all the time. It's like, stop. Then when I go to the beach and I run and stuff, it's like sometimes there's cool dogs and chill dogs and small dogs. Sometimes there's like big crazy dogs, and it's like, bro, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to happen. He never does that. Bro, you're so annoying. Stop ruining everything. You agree with Richard? Yeah, you're one of those douchebags that thinks that your pit bull should be off a leash near kids and everybody else, and everyone has to put up with your shit. That's awesome. That's cool. Like, it's not even debatable. It's your dog. It's your dog. You get to do anything. Like, the fact that you're so entitled to everybody else's space that you think your pit bull needs to be in other people's space unleashed, like, you're the ultimate scumbag. You're the ultimate scumbag. I agree with Matt Walsh more than other stuff. I'm a chicken shit. You're just a scumbag. You think you and your pit bull are entitled to other people's space and everything everyone else does, and they just have to like it. People don't have to like it. I fucking hate you guys now. And I'm not trying to be like an asshole about it, but it's like, you're the ultimate scumbag. Like, it would be like me just like doing something in public and it's like disgusting and everyone's like, stop doing it. And you're like, what? It's my life. And it's like, go in your house and do that, bro. It's a service pit. What do you need a service pit bull for? What is it serving you that other dogs can't serve you? I'm just curious. But do you realize that a lot of people hate it though? Like, do you care or no? You think everyone has to like it? I don't even like normal dogs being everywhere. There's certain places, but like everyone's bringing dogs everywhere all the time. It's just like lonely people, you know, like they need to have, it's like they need to enforce their life into everyone else's life. You have to do everything that they're doing all the time. Someone said anomalies, right? Pit bulls were bred for sport to kill other dogs. Of course, everybody smart knows that. I'm not saying this is why it's so annoying, because I'm making the compromise. There's millions of people that want to ban. I like some dogs, but I don't like all dogs. Some people's dogs suck. Some people's dogs are my favorite, and it fills me with joy. But it's like, that's your decision. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you get to eat the dinner you want. You get to do this. It shouldn't even be debatable. The edgy thing is people like Matt Walsh saying ban them all. You know, I understand why you might not like that. You love your pit bull. You want it. You don't want Matt Walsh or other people to ban your pit bull. I totally understand that. That makes sense. But to, like, when I come with a compromise and I say you can own it, you could do whatever you want at your house, but you can't be bringing it everywhere off a leash. And if you bring it somewhere, keep it on a leash and understand what type of animal it is and what it has the capability of do. If you can't even do that, you're just a scumbag. You're just a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone thinks that everyone has to put up with all their shit all the time. It's like, we don't though. You said you're trolling. The other guy's not. I don't care either. I know you're just trying to get me, but it's like, even people with their normal dogs that aren't pit bulls, it's like certain places make sense to bring them. Like, what if you're at a restaurant and now, like, we're like 2 years away from people bringing them to every restaurant, and you got like dogs everywhere. They go, oh, it's my dog. And it's like, bro, if you're that attached to your dog, order Uber Eats. You know what I'm saying? Go walk them at a park. Like, my dad was telling me he was at Costco the other day, and he's like, dude, I've been to Costco for the last 20 years. No one ever brought a dog to Costco. It's a freaking, it's a place you shop. He's like, there were like 20 dogs. It's just like, it's annoying. It's not like I hate all dogs, but it's like, there's a place for a dog and then there's not a place for a dog. Like, and like, if it was one person's service dog that was really cute or something, it's like, whatever. But like, you don't need to bring your dog everywhere, and everyone doesn't have to want your dog everywhere. It's just annoying. Even at the beach, I've gone to the beach for years. Now there's like 20 dogs there. The little ones are cute and stuff, but it's like, humans can't have anything anymore. Everything's for everyone's dog. Everything's their playground. They're shitting, they're pissing. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Got your leg. I thought I wouldn't do that. It's usually nice. It's like, come on, bro. The beach is for humans, my guy. It's not a pet park, Why don't people bring their cats too, and lizards and snakes, I know a friend has a pet tarantula. He should bring that to the beach. How come he doesn't bring that to the beach? It's small, because it's not the place for the beach. It's not the place for the beach, You keep certain shit to yourself or to a place that makes sense. Your dog doesn't belong everywhere. Oh, it's so annoying. Someone said pitbull. He said pit bulls cannot lock their jaw. It's a myth. They have strong jaws, but they can't lock it. If they've killed 100 kids and like thousands of dogs, whether they lock their jaw is irrelevant. Like I don't care whether they lock their jaw. Their murder rate is astronomical because they're bred for that. It's like Joe Exotic with the lions. Like Joe Exotic has been attacked by a lion before, in Tiger King. It's like they're usually really nice, but sometimes they're not. It's like that's what it is. Like a lion is a lion. It's an animal. A dog is a dog. It's an animal. Some dogs are bred to just like barely be able to walk. Like if you see a little cute dog, it literally doesn't have the capability to even bite or do anything. It's literally like been bred to just be like, and they're cute. And you're like, oh my gosh, that dog's so cute. It's furry. You're rubbing it and you're like, oh man, this dog is amazing. Like I love cute dogs. And then pit bulls, as people are pointing out, they're bred to kill and fight. And it's like, it doesn't mean that they're going to kill and fight. Pit bull's a great dog for your yard and your house. It's not great for everyone. That's all I'm saying. If you believe that they're loyal and amazing, keep it in your yard. Make sure it doesn't get out, or you need to go to prison. If it kills somebody else, you need to go to jail like you killed them because you didn't secure your yard. If the stories of, oh, I had the best pit bull. It ran out the front yard and killed my neighbor's 4-year-old. You should go to prison forever. You just killed somebody's 4-year-old because you're a fucking scumbag. You know what I'm saying? That's not it's not possible if you don't have that animal and you actually close off stuff. And if you can't handle it, then if you can't handle it, then you shouldn't own it. It's like a lot of people can handle pit bulls and they know where to bring them or not to bring them. But it does seem like a lot of people that own them, it does seem like they're the ones that want to like keep it off the leash and be like, oh, you don't understand. Bro, I don't care. Keep it to yourself. And if your dog kills somebody else, you should be responsible for it. That's my opinion. Someone said if pit bull lovers would admit pit bulls are more dangerous than your average dog, then maybe people wouldn't have a problem with them. Yeah, it's the delusion. I don't care. Like it's not like I'm not an idiot. You can't lie to me. I know people with dogs, all right? My neighbors have certain dogs. They're fluffy, they're cute. They literally probably couldn't even kill anything if they wanted to. Like they don't have the genetics or the capability. They don't have the physical structure. It's not possible. Everyone knows that. A pit bull, it does, and the stats show it, and everybody knows that. So it's like, I'm not saying that they're all bad. I'm not saying that they're necessarily horrible, but it's like there's Russians that hang out with bears and they make videos with bears. It's awesome. Like bears are probably really nice when you train them, but it's still a fucking bear. So if you walked it around in public, it might just fucking kill somebody once in a while and be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Cause you're an idiot. Everyone else saw it coming. I didn't think my lion would do that, or my bear, or my pit bull. It's like, it's a bear, lion, and pit bull. Some animals are not capable of that. Others are. If you own an animal that is like, whether you want to admit it or not, your pit bull is capable of killing you. Every night you go to bed, you get to make the decision. I trust that my pit bull will not kill me, even though it could. Right? And I mean, that's the truth with like a wife as well. And like, I'm not saying to be like paranoid about it, but it's like you can make that decision because it's a pet. It's not a human. You choose to have that thing in your house. With that being said, it's like everyone else is not making the decision that you're making. I don't want to sleep with a pit bull every night. I don't want to do that. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to. You can, but I don't want to. It's that simple. It's not to say you can't do it, but you can't push it on everyone else and then act oblivious. It's just annoying. I'm not scared. I'm just realistic. Like it's not like a huge fear of mine. It's just like, this is the annoying thing about pit bull owners. If you acknowledge everything I'm saying and you're like, yeah, but I trust it. It's loyal. Most of them are great. Most of them don't do anything and I want to keep it. I have no problem with that. It's like pit bull owners are always like, oh, you're just scared. I'm not scared. I'm just telling you, I don't want to own one. I don't like them. You can, but like, it's like, oh, it's not going to do that to anyone because I think it's not going to. Bro, the stats show otherwise. So you could take that decision on your own. It has nothing to do with scared. It's killed hundreds of kids, thousands of animals. It's probably killed thousands of kids. And the murder rate that it kills humans is astronomically higher than any other breed. And it's not rocket science how it's happening. If you show me a pit bull and then you show me an animal that's not even capable of killing someone, It's not hard to see how one has killed hundreds or thousands of kids and the other one hasn't. Like, it's not rocket science. Like, that one has the capability, the other one doesn't. I'm not saying you can't own it. I'm not saying you have to be scared of it, but it's like, why can't you admit that that's the reality of it and keep it away from everyone else that doesn't fucking want to live the life that you want to live? Like, why is it always the douchiest people that are like, oh, everybody has to think how I think about it? Why? Why? You know? Someone said, what about my German Shepherd? This is the thing with dog people. I like dogs. I'm not an anti-dog person, but it's like, bring it around your friends and family that want it around. Bring it to the acceptable places that it's acceptable to bring dogs to. Leave everyone else alone. Like, how is that even so hard? I'm not judging what dog you own or don't own, but like, why is it people that own these dogs that they just assume everybody wants to be around it? It's the same thing with like a cat too. I don't mind cats, but I've been scratched by a cat before. I've had, like, you know, some people have really chill cats. Other people have bad cats. Like, you know, it's like, it is what it is, but it's like, if you go to someone's house and they have the animal, it's one thing, but like, how do you guys not know that everyone doesn't want to deal with that shit? Like, that's the craziest part of this to me. I don't care about your German Shepherd. I don't even know much about him. I'm just saying, like, do you not know that like everyone doesn't want to live the life you want to live? It's just like, it's just like so crazy to me. It's like, no, let's just bring 50 dogs to Costco and just ruin shopping for everybody and just act like everyone likes it because I can't leave my dog for 20 minutes. It's like, now everyone has to live your life. I got it. Let me read the super chat real quick. We'll get back to this. JK said, appreciate you, Anam. We have a Siberian Husky and a Shih Tzu. I take them to the beach on a leash until they play in the surf. They're great. I like the stream. Thanks. When I go to the beach, there's a lot of dogs off the leash and a lot of them are super chill. It's just like, as long as you know your dog is chill and you know the chances of them. I've gone to somebody's house. I think it was a pit bull. He literally bit my leg. Thank God he let go, because he literally probably could have ripped my leg off. But my buddy was like breeding them and there were like 10 of them running around the house. I mean, that's an extreme case, but he's like, they never usually bite someone. And it's like, bro, come on, dude. And then it's like, if you have a mailman and stuff, you know how many mailmen have been bit by dogs before because people don't like know how to like keep them away. And they're like, oh, it normally doesn't do that. It's like, all right, but it just did it to me though. So maybe just think about it a little bit. Yeah, it bit it bruised my leg pretty bad, but I didn't care. I was just glad it didn't like bite through my leg because it probably could have. Someone said cat scratches and bites can end up infected. He said, your fear is not my responsibility. It's not a fear. It's just the reality of it. I believe if your dog ever did anything, you should have to go to prison forever. And if you let it off a leash running around the neighborhood, that people should be able to report it or do something about it, because it's like your animal is not everyone's animal. It'd be like if I just let a huge dog just run through your house and I'm like, hey, your fear is not my responsibility. It's like, bro, my life is not your life. I don't force everyone to do everything. Someone said this is the gayest conversation. Anomaly, you're a pussy. No, this is how society used to be forever. Like even the Costco thing, I was talking to my dad. Nobody's anti-dog. I like dogs. I don't hate dogs. But it's like when you go to certain places, you don't need everyone bringing their pet everywhere you go. It's just annoying, bro. It's not a pussy. It's just annoying. It's just like douchey people just think that everyone wants to deal with their shit all the time. Or it's like someone said they hate dogs. People like dogs. No matter I like dogs, but I like certain dogs and other dogs I don't like. I love certain dogs and other breeds I'm not a fan of. And, some breeds are harmless and others aren't. Like I'm not anti-dog, but like people nowadays, they're like, you're a pussy if you don't want me to fucking ruin your day every day. It's like, yeah, okay. So I guess supermarkets, yeah, we bring dogs to supermarkets now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So supermarkets aren't for humans anymore. Everybody's going to bring their dog. And then if these people bring their dog, then now these people are going to want to bring their dog. And oh, you could bring that dog, but I can't bring my pit bull and I can't bring this to that. And it's like, it's a fucking supermarket, bro. At somebody's house, I don't care about the dog. It's their house. At a supermarket in public, yeah, everyone's just a pussy if they don't want to deal with your dog all the time. So annoying. And especially if you have kids, like a father's a pussy for not wanting a pit bull running around its like 3-year-old. And it's like, well, we let our 3-year-old, deal with the pit bull. you can do that. No one's stopping you. No one's telling you shouldn't do that. It's just like stop enforcing your wants onto everyone else. That's all I'm saying. How's that pussy? I'm not even afraid of dogs. I just don't like certain dogs are cool and certain dogs are annoying. And it's like the annoying dog always has the annoying owner, and the cool dog always has the cool owner, and the cute dog has, the dog's like the owner. So it's like every dog's not great. Like I've met great dogs. For example, like I know somebody where like we go over it and the dog's like freaking the fuck out, and it's like, sorry, we got it from like a a shelter, and it like rips the furniture and it's like pissed off. Then put it somewhere. I don't know what to tell. Like, if the dog is cute and cool, then it's cute and cool. But if the dog's like a psychopath, then it's like, how would anyone like that? Like, do people just pretend to like that? I don't understand it. Like, it's like, yeah, there's some elements of it that are good, but if your dog is literally like ripping up furniture and like fucking barking all the time, it's like sitting and trying to have a conversation, and someone's over there and they're like la 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 la, and I'm like, oh, I like the fact that guy's yelling la 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 la. I love that. I love the fact that I can't hear the conversation we're having with the humans because that other thing's screaming in my ear. I love that. That's really desirable. Like nobody likes that, It's like, so it's like if a dog is super loud and like just doing a bunch of stuff, it's like just biting things. It's like, yeah, that's annoying. Everyone thinks it's annoying. They just don't say it. But how does the owner not know that's annoying? That's what I don't understand. What happens when you breed a Shih Tzu and a Bulldog? I don't know. Someone said, I can't watch this no more. I hate dogs. Everyone's mad at me. People who hate dogs are mad. People who love dogs are mad. I guess I live in a world now where people are not allowed to have their own preferences. I guess that's a radical opinion, is that you can do whatever you want, but be considerate of other people. Yeah, my bad. My bad for thinking that. Just don't be considerate. Just don't consider anybody else. Just walk around like you own the world and just have no consideration for anyone else. I guess that's what people want to hear. It's like, oh, bullshit. Nice. Someone said, place the annoying child in another room, says Anomaly. I mean, a kid is a kid. An animal is an animal. I would not tell somebody, if you're over someone's house and it's their kid, it's their kid. It's a human being. You deal with what you have to deal with. A dog is a fucking dog. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, if your kid's crying and you're watching your kid, I'm not going to say, oh, the kid's being too loud. I'm not an asshole. But if the dog's screaming and barking and ripping shit up, it's like, bro, it's a fucking dog. Go put it in the backyard. Go put it in a room. It's not a kid. This is the problem too, is like, I'm not delusional. I like, everyone gets lonely at times, but I'm not so lonely that I'm like, my dog's my kid. No, your dog's a dog and your kid's a kid. That's the new thing too, because everyone's so damn lonely and they don't value human beings and kids anymore, where they're like, I'm a cat mom. I'm a dog mom. No, you're fucking single and you're lonely and you have an animal just like everybody else. I'm not trying to be rude about it. I don't care, but you're not a mom. I'm not a dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm a dad when I have a kid. I'm not a dad when you have a little dog because you don't have a kid and you're trying to place the void in your heart with the dog. It's like a dog's a dog, a kid's a kid. Dogs are cute, kids are cute, but kids are not dogs. I'm not going to say, oh, your kid's being loud. That's on you. Like you're the parent. I'm not the parent, but here's another thing too. Thank you for the super chat. Hold on. Someone said Biden's dog Commander bites everyone. Yeah, and Biden's the exact type of owner that's like, oh, he's harmless as a fly. He's bitten 7 people. He's not like every other dog. It's like, you suck as an owner. Your dog sucks. Get it away from everybody. It's not like I'm a dog hater. Biden's dog sucks. It bites everybody, and now everyone just has to deal. Everybody hates that shit, It's so annoying. I'm a dog mom. I'm a dog dad. No, you own a dog. It's not a kid. But also with a kid too, here's what I'll say. Like at a certain age, when a kid is super young, they're going to cry. They're going to have situations. But like if I go to the mall and there's a kid that's like 8 or 10 or 12 and they're just being a brat, it's embarrassing for the parent. It's like, I'm not going to treat it like it's a dog or be like that upset, but it's as a parent as well. It's like, you want your kids to be respectful. Like my mother was a very good mother. She would not allow us to be like disrespectful in public. And when she got upset at us, there were consequences. So we didn't go past that point. So, as a kid, I was a respectful kid. You got some people, their kids are just all over the place. It's not the fact that you're like, oh, you're just being such a dick because it's a kid. It's like some people are just bad parents. Some people are bad dog owners. Like, it is what it is, you know, like everyone gets annoyed by shitty kids. It's not when they're young and you're like, oh, they're crying. But at the same time, it's like, you know, like I've been on a plane before and I had kids they're like hitting me and doing all this stuff. They're not even that young. They're like walking, they're going stuff, and the mom's oblivious. And the truth is, you know, that's why the kids are like that, because the parents suck, so the kids suck. I'm not, you know, it's like the parents have no consideration for other people, so the kids have no consideration. It comes from the parent. So the reason I was considerate when I was a kid is because my mom made sure that she instilled those values in me. If you have a douchey parent who doesn't care about other people, then the chances are their kid is going to do the same thing. So it's like, you know, a dog is not a kid, but I don't think everyone's kids are like, it's not like, oh, this kid's being annoying, it's so awesome. Everyone gets annoyed at that too. Even if you're on a plane, like, you know, a mom has to fly, but if you have a baby screaming in your ear, are you going to be like, oh, this is the greatest flight ever? It's like, no, you're going to be like, this sucks, you know? Like, if you get off a flight with everyone's just like lying to themselves now. You get off a flight 5 hours, there's a baby screaming in your ear. You know it's young, you know it's not its fault, and you know it is what it is, but it's just screaming in your ear. Are you going to get off the plane and be like, dude, that was awesome? And if I said like, yo, that kind of sucked that the baby was screaming in my ear, and you're going to be like, oh, you just hate babies? Like, no, it just sucks to have a baby behind you on a plane screaming in your ear. It's not like I sympathize with the mom. You know, I understand that she has to fly, but like I'm just not a liar. Like that everyone thinks that, but no, you don't think that. You just think it's awesome when kids are just screaming. But yeah, if you're at a house and a kid's doing something, depending on the age, it's a kid, you know, it's not a dog. I know I've heard a lot of people talk about that though, where like nowadays everybody's acting like their animal is their kid. So they'll bring it to places, they'll bring it to grocery stores and restaurants, and they're like, well, I'm a dog mom. And it's like, you're not the mom is the kid. You're not like, it's, I think it was like Dave Portnoy too. He was going super viral, and it was like, oh, he has this like Peaches, he has this like female dog, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. Oh my gosh, Dave Portnoy has a dog. He's a dog dad. He's a dog dad. And here's the truth. I don't know what Dave's doing, but they're trying to normalize men acting like the dog is the kid. No, Dave has no kids. I have no kids too, but I'm not sitting here acting like I'm a dog dad. It's like, if I have a dog, I have a dog. It's not my kid. Dave has no kids. They're trying to normalize like having no kids and pretending like your dog is your daughter when it's literally a dog. It's like, you know, dogs are cool, but kids are probably cooler. You know, you're not a parent of a dog. You're a parent of a kid. And if you have no kids and you just have a dog, it's extra embarrassing. At least if you have 5 kids and you call your dog your daughter or your son or something, at least you have kids and you're like, okay, well, you have kids, but you also like love your dog. But if you're single and you have no kids and you call your pet your son or your daughter and you're the dad, it's like extra embarrassing, in my opinion. You know, it's like, come on. Someone said time for Anomaly to get married. It's true. But I'm not going to sit here and adopt a dog and just let it run and bite people and be like, oh, everybody has to deal with me because I'm a dog dad. I'm being realistic about it. It's like, yeah, like I don't have a kid until I have a kid. And someone said any single woman. Well, it's not about anybody. If I cared about anybody, I could have been married 1,000 times. So it's not like, oh, anybody out there single? Yeah, there's a lot of people out there, but I'm not like that desperate. Maybe in like 10 years, I'll be that desperate or something. But right now, someone said if Anomaly went to a few Diddy parties, he would have been married to a bottle of lube or something. I would have been in a relationship with a bottle of lube if I went to a Diddy party. And then I'd be walking around with it in a dog daddy stroller. And I'd be like, what? I'm just at Costco trying to get some chick. It's like, come on, guys, you know? I thought this would go over better. I don't care because I think it's funny, but I thought it would go over better because it's like, I'm not saying to ban the animal. I'm just like, let's just be honest about it, you know? Let me say this about dogs too. I think some dogs are better indoor dogs and some dogs are better outdoor dogs. This is just my personal opinion. I think like domesticated dogs that are like super like meh, and they can't do anything, those are great indoor dogs because they're like bred to basically just be like a stuffed animal for you. Other dogs that you can hunt with and do stuff with and fish with, those are better outdoor dogs. I'm not saying you can't have them in the house, but I just think like certain dogs are better indoors and certain dogs are better outdoors. Like pit bulls are great yard dogs. If you want to scare the shit out of everybody, you throw them in the yard and, you're like, okay, well, now I got extra security. But it's like now everybody's trying to do everything where it's like, you can do it. I don't give a shit what you do in your house because I get why you'd want the dog in the house. But that's just how I think. I think certain dogs are bred to be indoor dogs and certain dogs are bred to be outdoor dogs. I'm not policing who puts what where, but it's like, it's like putting a freaking whale at SeaWorld. Like you can do it, but it doesn't mean it's the best thing for it. I just think now everybody's so attached to their dogs because they're lonely and stuff that they're, now everyone has to be like, my dog needs to be at Costco. My dog, I'm a dog dad. It needs to be in the house. And it's like, some dogs belong in the house. Some dogs don't, in my opinion. But I'm not the world police. That's just how I think. Starless said you're absolutely right. It's common sense when you look at certain breeds. It's like they need to exercise more and they're bigger. And then ones that can barely walk, it's like, yeah, that could sleep in the bed because it's so. But then you got people with big ass dogs in the house, and that's on you. You can do that. Stuffed animals. Well, some of the dogs are bred to be stuffed animals. My one of my like friends has a dog where it's just like it's literally like a rug. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got these big fluffy ears. It's got like the fluffiest thing, and like she brought it somewhere I was last week, and I was having a great time with this dog. It's like, how could you hate a dog like that? You got to be like a demon. Like I'm like love. It was just so fun. I was like, oh, your dog's awesome. But it's like that dog can be brought places and be inside because it's like a rug. It's literally like a stuffed animal. Like it doesn't bark. It doesn't even talk. It's just like fluffy. It just like loves everyone. And then you got dogs that I'm not saying they're bad, but they're more, they're more into other activities. Like that's just what it is. Like that's a great indoor dog. But like other dogs, like huge dogs, they're better outdoor dogs. But someone said here, mailmen or women don't deliver mail if your dog's outside and pit bull owners have to pick up their mail. Oh, of course. I have a lot of family members that are mailmen. So I know all about dogs. Like, every mailman knows like dogs bite people. Like I have multiple family members that are postal workers, and they all have a story of a dog for sure. You can't deliver mail for 20, 30 years without. And of course, the dog that bites them is always like that. The person who owns it will be like, oh, it usually doesn't do that. And it's like, it's not what you want to hear after you get a bit. Come on. Someone said, I walk an old Greyhound that used to race, now lives in an apartment in Port Alley. Right? I think big dogs, like, they like it outdoors better too. But I think owners, they just want to like, they want it to be what they want it to be. They're like, this is my daughter. You're like, okay. And that dolphin is my son, but it's in a tank and it probably hates itself, I'm sure it eats good, but it's like a dolphin probably would be better in the ocean, but we could throw it in this tank, I guess. It's like, and we can call it our cousin. But someone said normalizing psychosis is a thing. What are my thoughts on service pets? Personally, I think they're good when it's for someone that needs it. But as you know, like everybody just wants to say their pet's a service pet so they could bring it anywhere. So if you really need it, if you're blind or you're like crippled, yeah, I think a service pet's awesome, especially if it's the right breed. I have no problem with it. But nowadays you got millions of people who are registering it as a service pet. They're saying, I have anxiety. That's why they're everywhere now, because everyone has anxiety. So they just say their dog stops them from having anxiety. To me, it's like, I don't know. I get anxiety sometimes too, but like your dog stops your anxiety. Like how would me walking a dog in Costco stop my anxiety? I think people are just lying because they don't want to leave their dog home. So yeah, no, if you need a service animal, it's fine. I don't want, like, I like dogs. I like dogs more than cats. I'm not a big cat fan, but like, it's just my personal preference is like, I like certain breeds of dogs for different reasons. Like if you get a really athletic dog, it's awesome to play catch with, like one of those dogs that can jump and catch everything. Like I'm sure there's people watching this that have dogs that are so fun to play catch with, but it's like, everything's just situational. I'm just trying to be realistic about it. Like everything doesn't need to be for everyone all the time. That's all I tried to say. I know, I'm sorry to the dog owners. So luckily I'm not that important or famous, because then I'd probably get in trouble or something, or this, luckily no one gives a shit. But it's like I wasn't trying to like offend anybody, but it's just that's the main gist of what I'm trying to say. There's a dog for every situation, but your dog doesn't need to be for every situation all the time. And it's not your daughter and it's not your son. That's all I'm saying. Okay. End of dog rant. Let's talk about something else. Someone said I'm Haitian. I'll take care of all your pet issues. I know you're not Haitian, so you're just a racist. But I'll report you to the Anti-Racimation League. It's an organization that they really don't like when people say they're Haitians, because not all Haitians are eating dogs, but maybe some are somewhere. Springfield, according to Trump and the media. Someone said good talk. I enjoy stuff like this because, to be honest, like I know, I know my job is to talk about the news and stuff. I'm not going to act like it's not, but it's like, I'm like talking about like Israel's like blowing up pagers, and then you can't boycott their products, and then like we got to send U.S. troops. Gets a little stressful. I'd rather just talk about annoying dogs. It's a little more fun. But like having to talk about like all the worldly issues, it's like, yeah, we get it. We're going to war again. Someone said if Anomaly had a dog, his dog would be on the couch and everything. In my household, eventually, there's going to be indoor dogs and outdoor dogs. If we have a cute, harmless dog, it could be inside. If it's a bigger dog, then it's got to go outside. Can I talk about my fasting experience? It was great. I did a 2 or 3 day fast. It was really good. I definitely think it's healthy to do. People always say this too, and they're like, it's a spiritual experience. And you're like, yeah, whatever, hippie. But when I did it, I can't explain it. I was like cloudy, but not cloudy. Like I was crushing my live streams. I had so much energy, but I felt like I was tired, but I wasn't tired. I can't explain it, but it was good for my body. It was good for my mind. It's good for the soul, possibly. Have I ever been to the Park City, Utah Film Festival? I have not. Should I go? Is it a desirable place to go? I did a fast with like bone broth, but I fast often. Like I'll do 24-hour fasts, but the 48 hours is really testy. But I did it with the bone broth. I think it's great. I should do it again. Someone said, if you're going to keep your dog outside, please just don't get one. Carrie, but here, you're going to drag me back into this dog conversation, and I don't want to be here. A lot of dogs belong inside, right? But like not all dogs belong inside. I don't know. People with these behemoth dogs, like I guess you could have it inside. I'm not saying that you can't. And like maybe if you have a big house or something, I just think like certain dogs are just better in the yard. I'm not saying that everyone, but like I don't care. You could bring it inside. Like dogs, are they all bred? Like do they not exist in the wild? Dogs are interesting to me because like a cat can go indoor and outdoor, and cats they're hunters. Like cats like to be outside and inside, but you let them inside, but they go outside. It's like, what are dogs? Like I know they're cute and stuff, but like, do dogs exist in the wild anywhere? Are they just better as pets? They all need to be inside. I don't know about these rules. Like I think some dogs would enjoy being outside, not like in the middle of nowhere, like fed and having the right stuff, but I don't know. As a pack, they're dangerous. Yeah, I could see that. Someone said nobody knows who domesticated dogs or humans. Yeah, dogs are just weird to me. They're being like bred, they're domesticated. They can't live outside now, or else you're being mean to it. It's like, okay, if you say so. I don't know. I don't care enough. They're punked out wolves. They kind of are though. Like they're like domestic. Like now everyone's like, you shouldn't allow it outside. You're like, you realize that these animals probably existed outside forever, and then you like put like a Halloween costume on it and called it your daughter, and now you're saying like it's so mean to put a dog outside. Like it's like dog. Yeah, that's how it goes. Is that how dogs were born? They were born in a little like tutu, calling it Princess Diana or whatever, and now it stays in your house. It would just be so mean to put it outside. There's no way that's how dogs were originated, or, you know, like it's just mean if you don't put a diaper on it and call it your son. It's like, you know, like they're literally like animals that have just been domesticated and bred and experimented with humans. And most people like them because they're cool and awesome and cute. And I think they're awesome as well. I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't think it's like that bad to put a dog outside. You know, every other animal anywhere goes outside and it's totally fine. But a dog, no. We got to dress it up and put a diaper on it. Okay. Or else you're just being hateful. All right. I'm not the dog expert here. I just think they're cute and cool sometimes. Someone said, dude, the dogs in Iraq are eating dead bodies and stuff. This is another thing with dogs too, is like, that's what people say about pit bulls, is like, they're nice because every animal can be nice to some extent, but like they're bred to do certain things. So like the only reason that they're not eating everyone's face is because you're like domesticating them. You know, it's the same thing if you just like, you know, you take a warrior and you just feed him Cheetos all the time. And like 5 years later, you're like, yo, he doesn't even move, or he would never hurt a fly. It's like, cause he's so fat, cause he's so domesticated that he can't, you know, like, I'm not saying they're all bad, but like, that's why your animal is the way it is, cause you've domesticated it. Like, you know, like, I don't know that it would be that way if you didn't do that. And also it still has that in him to an extent where it could go off at a certain time. Certain animals, they have that dog in them. Next topic, anomaly, too much dog talk. You want me to talk about the Israel war again? You know, it's sad. People are dying. Everything's anti-Semitic. All right. What's the next topic? You know, Trump versus Kamala, the bankers versus the bankers. It's going to be a tough one this year, folks. It's the New York bankers going off against the Black/Indian, possibly, allegedly, I'm not sure where she was born, bankers. The bankers versus the bankers, the red bankers and the blue bankers. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy one. You never know. Look at that. I'm going for the red banker. I like Trump. I'm a Trump fan, but it's going to be a dicey one. All right, next topic. Love Dog Comedy Hour. I wasn't trying to make jokes about it, but like, I've always thought this, but it's like, it's not my place to really say, but until someone brings it up, then it is. Someone said, I love dogs, but people do act. All right, here's a normal person. Thank God. Facebook. Appreciate you guys bailing me out. And Marie said, I love dogs, but people do act crazy with them today. I had a pit bull, Yorkie, and a Cocker Spaniel Beagle mix. Sorry, I love them, but I didn't take them everywhere, treated them like human. There we go. A perfect citizen who has certain dogs, but didn't take them everywhere. That's all I'm asking. It's like, it's undeniable that people do too much with their dogs today. I don't even want to debate about it. They take them to too many places. They think they're their son and daughter. It's like, I'm not going to argue with people. It's the people that treat their dog like that are going to get mad. They're like, come on, I'm just, you know, it's just brunch. My dog's running around brunch. It's like, ugh. Anyway. It's just like a kid. Would you take your kid to like a nightclub? You know, it's like, imagine people got their kids and their dogs in a nightclub. It's like, bro, why you got your dog and your kid here? You're like, oh, you just hate kids? You hate dogs, huh? It's like, bro, it's a fucking DJ Tiesto concert. What? Like, you don't got to bring your pit bull off a leash. Oh, Mr. Anti-Dog here. He's just so afraid of my pit bull. It's like, it doesn't need to be here, bro. Unless, is it a bit? My dog loves EDM. It's my son. My son loves this song. You're like, bro, I guarantee you your dog has no idea what the fuck's going on. And it's just trying to figure out how to eat that beef jerky stick over there. I highly doubt it even knows that where it is. But we can all pretend, you know? Ever see somebody with one as a pet? What is a pet? A beef jerky stick or DJ Tiesto? My pit loves the nightclub. That's what's up. I'm fine with pits, but it's just like, keep it to yourself and your friends and your family and people who want it around. That's all I'm saying. Like, I know somebody that has a tarantula pet. Like, it's like, bro, I'm fine with you having that as a pet, but I don't want the tarantula around. I'm not a big fan of tarantulas, you know? Oh, you don't want it on your face? Come on, bro. It's like, come on, bro. Like, do we really have to spend this long on it? Like, we don't know what I'm talking about. What? It's just in Costco with my. It's like, no. Just be thoughtful about it. Be respectful. No respect anymore. Everybody's just gonna annoy everybody all the time. I get it. They had a story in the news a few years ago about a meth head who had an attack squirrel he fed meth to and attacked cops on it. Yeah, I'm sure he was doing that too. He's like, oh, you don't like squirrels, huh? This isn't a squirrel friendly park. And then everyone has to do everything because it's like, you know, you let one dog do it, then everyone's like, oh, my pet squirrel on meth can't come to this, this Arby's drive through. You're like, bro, why do you even have a squirrel? Why is it on meth? That's kind of fire though. Like that's, you know, if you're going to be a crackhead, you might as well get innovative and feed a squirrel meth and try to get it to attack cops. I'm not advocating for that, but like it's better than just some homeless guy who's like, oh, I'm homeless. It's like, yeah, oh, you and 20,000 people in the city. Now, this guy's got one time I saw in LA, this dude had a bunch of dogs or something, or I don't remember what it was, but he was like Santa Claus. He was on a skateboard or something. And he just like flew past me with like a bunch of dogs running him down the street on like a skateboard or some like cart that he like jerry rigged. And I was like, and he looked at me and he smiled. He's like, I was like, bro, how do I get that happy? I'm not going to do the drugs he wants, but everyone in the city was miserable. And that like meth head with like, he was basically like crackhead Santa Claus. You know, he finessed his way into like having like reindeers drive him around on a sleigh. It was fire. Someone said, yeah, anomalies on point with dogs, some real inconsiderate dog owners out there. I'm going to say this about dogs and kids, and I'm not trying to act like I'm an expert. There's an age and there's a type where you can't control everything a dog or a kid does. But if people were respectful with their dogs, you'd have no problem. If people taught their kids respect, you'd have no problem. You know, it's just like some people don't do that. And then it's always the people that they're oblivious of it where they're like, I don't get it. Yeah, because you're a scumbag. You don't get it because you're not like teaching your kids values. Like you should want your kid to grow up respectful. And to be fair, like, you know, and to thank my mom, the reason I am respectful now is because I was raised that way, you know? So like my mom raised me when I went to my friend's house to make your bed and to put stuff away and to not leave a mess and to say please and thank you, to open doors, you know? And now I do that as an adult as well. And I'll open a door for someone. And they'll be like, wow, it's been so long since someone held a door open. I do it every time. Like I'm just not a rude person unless I'm in a rush and not thinking. I'll always hold the door open for anyone because I don't want to close the door in their face. Like it's just basic common sense. It's like, should I close the door in someone's face? Wait, no, that's rude. Should I hold it open so they smile and say thank you? Yeah, I should do that because it's a win-win. I feel good, they feel good, you know? And I'm that type of person because I was raised that way. It's nothing to do with hating on someone else. It's just like people are not raising their kids right. And then also people that are not considerate are not considering their dog as a dog. Like your dog is a dog. It's not your daughter. It's not everyone else's dog. It's yours. You know, you can spread joy to people if they want it, if it's the right place, and then just be self-aware of what dog it is. It's not that hard. All right. Anyway. Someone said Tulsi and baby oil. Bro, you're a savage. You're doing too much, my guy. 2 hours into an Anomaly live stream, you're talking about Tulsi and baby oil. You talk about Diddy and baby oil, okay? Don't be disrespectful to our Republican Fox News lady who used to be the head of the DNC. Someone said, man, get that fake wall moss out there and put something else up. I'm going to make a whole actual studio in the next year, but it's not going to be here. So I think you're just mad. You own a dog. You're a bad dog owner. And you're like, you're mad at my mall moss now. My wall moss. You mad, bro? Mad at this? You just jealous? You don't have wall moss at your house, huh? You jealous of these things that you could probably buy on Amazon for the same price I did, huh? Yeah. Nice cozy cushion. You can fall asleep on this thing, my guy. You just a hater because you don't like dogs, huh? Take a nap. Wake up in 30 minutes. Forget I was live streaming. Oh, sorry. Just had a big comfy pillow on the wall. Didn't even hear you there, bucko. Clean your room for Jordan Peterson and start a war for Israel for Jordan Peterson too, because that's what he's allegedly into now, and RFK and everyone mysteriously in politics. But anyway, 777 super chat from consumer 7977. It's a lot of sevens. Thank you. He said, you don't owe us anything, but I'm glad you know to prioritize your health, but it always brightens my day to see a new video from you. Thanks for your work. Thank you so much. I got a lot going on right now, but I'll tell you this before I leave, because the lights, the sun's going down, the light's going away. So I don't know. The quality's getting shitty, and now people are going to be like, your camera sucks. It's the lighting. It's not the camera. But anyway, I appreciate it. And, you know, I don't want to, I want to be here for longer than, like, I don't want to just like fade away into irrelevance or anything. So I've been a little slower this year on certain things, but yes, health is extremely important. It's definitely partially that, or a lot of that. The light as well. I was doing videos so much and just LED lights in my face all the time. I was like, this can't be healthy. So now I'm doing like sunlight for that reason, but I have to work at a different pace. But I'm not, I know I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm taking a break or whatever. I'm not quitting. You know, I'm not leaving, as they say in that Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I'm not leaving. But I need to rearrange stuff. So my lease is up soon. I'm going to be potentially moving states. I'm not really sure. I got a lot of stuff coming up these next few months, but my goal is to, wherever I end up, I'm trying to build like a real studio and a real business, not something so big. Like, I'm not trying to scale so big. It's not about that, but it's like, I need to do things more properly. So my next place, like, I'm going to have better backdrop, better camera, better everything. And I'm trying to just have like 1 or 2 people on my team so that I'm not so stressed out and, burnt out. And that's kind of my goal. So the next year, like, I'm still going to do stuff. It's going well. Every time I make videos, like, I think YouTube, I did better this last month than I've done in a long time. So everything's on the up and up. It's not like going in the wrong direction. It's just business model. I have to build it. When I took a break the last time, I just want to let you guys know, because I do a lot of things. I do social media consulting as well to the side. Like, I've always been good at it, but I just got with politics. I was like, I don't feel like doing it all the time. Let me do this so then I have more free time. But when I took a break last time, I actually found a way to like make a business model to make more money, because it's like, when I'm just making videos all the time, if you go to like certain media publications, they got 15 people doing everything. So they plug it all in and then they're just making a lot of money and doing well. I'm doing so many videos. It's like my business model is all screwed up. But the reason I could do it is because I could afford to do it, because I've done well enough where it doesn't matter that much to me. Like, I don't want to do all that stuff. I want to just make videos and make great content. That's what I enjoy doing. But at the same time, it's like any business, if you don't make the right business model, you're not going to be able to do it forever. So, you know, I've done certain things have gone well. I've seen different sides of certain stuff. And I've come to the conclusion that within the next like 5 months or so, I want to have a new place, new studio, really make it proper and have the right business model structure involved with it. So it's going to be a little dicey until then. I mean, it's going to be fine, but like, I'm not thinking that much. Like, people are like, change the wall, do this. Yeah, I know that. I've never had great backdrop and I've had success anyway, but I do want to do things properly, not just so it like looks so special, but I want to just be happier and have it like flow better so I actually can enjoy it, and not just like, I always feel like I'm a step behind now, but I want to get new studio, new place, a team around, a small team, level up and just crush it. So that's the goal. Until then, it's probably going to take a couple months. So you're going to get what you're going to get, but things are good. And I got a new documentary coming out that I'm in. I'm really excited about that. I haven't seen it yet, but I think it's going to be epic. So I'll let you guys know. All right. I appreciate it. And next couple of weeks, I'm going to do videos, but I think I'm going to do some like shorts and maybe some like planned out videos and stuff. But I'll say this too. I do music as well. Some people know that, some people don't. I'm working on a song and it's like ridiculous. It's 9 minutes long. I didn't mean to. It's just straight lyrics. And I was like, I started going a minute, 2 minutes, and it was cool. And then I made a 9-minute song. And I'm like, I'm trying to make this one of the best poems, one of the best rap songs. So it's taking a long time, is what I'm trying to say. It took a long time to record and to edit and do everything. So I've been doing that for like the last 3-4 days. That's why I didn't do a video. I was like, I got to record this 9-minute song. It's a little ridiculous, but I think it's going to be epic. Yeah. I'm trying to make it like the sickest lyrical song of the decade. That's the goal. obviously it's a high standard, but I'm not out here just dropping like, oh, maybe will go good in the club. I'm like, no, I'm dropping 9 minutes, straight bars, straight facts, straight lyrics, straight realness. It's exciting, but yeah, I was like, to record that, it was exhausting. I was like, it took me like the whole weekend to not literally record it, but I got to unplug this stuff. And my next place, what I want to do is I want to get different rooms. I want to have one room already set up for like a rap studio. I want to have one room be this studio. Like I'm going to really like ball out. You know, I've been blessed. I've been fortunate to do what I've done, and people have supported and everything's been good. I don't want to, for a while, I think I wouldn't say I was being cheap, but I don't really have any overhead, and I don't really care that much. So it's like, I'm not trying to be like freaking CNN and make $1 trillion. So I've just been going at my own pace, but it's not that it hasn't worked, because it has, but I'm ready to I'm taking a few steps back, and then I want to do everything right and really build like my dream life, my dream studio, and make it happen. So I did what I had to do. And I think like COVID made things weird too, because like I always forget, like I was broke before COVID for sure. So I'm always like, it's not been that long of a time, but it's like I had really nothing before and I was just winging it. Then over the last couple of years I did well. And it's like this thing where like COVID happened. I'm just stuck home for a couple of years. I can't really do stuff. Then it's like 2022, 2023. I mean, a lot of the stuff fully went away in 2023. I wasn't like locked down or anything, but as far as like, I was just kind of doing it. Like, let me just do it. I'm not really thinking about stuff. Now it's like, okay, all that's over. Hopefully they don't start a new one, but I'm like, I don't want to just go through the motions. You know, it's been nice. It's been cool. I'm grateful, but I want to invest in myself and use what I've got to make something that does even better into the future. So that's my goal for next year. Get multiple rooms, get either a studio or a way bigger place, pimp it out with like all the stuff I need in different rooms, get a team of 1 or 2 or 3 people behind me. I don't need 10 people. I don't need 1,000 people. I don't even need 3 people. I just need 1 or 2. If I can get 1 or 2 people to work with me that I trust, I can scale everything I'm doing times 10 in like a healthy way. Not like everybody needs to see my stuff, but it's like business wise, like, you know, there's only so much time in a day, so I got to get the right thing. I'm excited about all that though. So that's in the next couple months. I'm doing a lot of that too, and I'm like checking out other places, taking meetings and stuff. So it's gonna be a little like I'm gonna be in and out of like doing videos, but don't worry about me. I'm fine, and yeah, it's all for the better. So hire some Haitians. I'll hire a good Haitian, but you know, I gotta show him the video of Trump saying that they're eating cats and dogs and see what he says to it. I'll be like, you know, give me a resume, and then it's like, yo, and then I play that video, and then I'm like, we'll see how he responds. If he's like, yo, that's really offensive, I'll be like, no, I get that. That's fair. But if he laughs and he's like, I don't eat dogs, but some people do eat dogs. Not everybody. Most of us do not do that, but there is someone out there that does eat dogs and cats. I'll be like, that's okay. That guy's telling me the truth. Because I don't know. I've never really been there. I've seen the reports and stuff. Everybody's like laughing at it. The song is funny. But, you know, we got to get to the bottom of that stuff, because I never really. Let me know in the comment section. Like, should I search it? Here, let me look at, I'll try like the Twitter. Let me do that real quick before I leave. I'm going to do the Twitter AI and be like, are people in Springfield eating cats and dogs? Let me ask Grok. Hold on. I'm going to use artificial intelligence real quick, because I never even looked into it. I just thought it was hilarious. The video. Yeah, the duck memes. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Let's see. We'll be respectful. Are some Haitian immigrants really eating cats and dogs? I mean, people eat stuff in Asia too. I know. Let's see. The claim, I'm reading this on Grok. The claim that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are eating cats and dogs has been widely circulated but lacks substantiation. Here's a breakdown. The rumor seems to have started on social media. Multiple fact-checking sources have debunked it. The spread of this narrative has been fueled by social media. Conclusion: there's no credible evidence to support the claim that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are systematically or culturally eating cats and dogs. What does that even mean? Culturally eating? The story that I guess I understand. I mean, Grok is usually pretty legit. I'm not saying that like that, but Grok doesn't really like, you could ask it pretty edgy stuff and it'll tell you the truth. You know, I guess like I would say it's not impossible, but I never really reported on it. Ask them if they're eating geese. You want me to do that? It's gonna say no. I mean, here's what I'll say about it. I'm not saying that it's not happening at all, but like when people, I could kind of tell when people start talking about stuff. Like I'm like, okay, do they have proof? Like, what was the most proof that they had? Like a guy holding a duck walking? I mean, that's not bad. But it's like when I see a picture like that, I'm like, did it really come from there? Is it old? Is it young? Like, old or young? I guess like old. Is it new? I'm so tired of doing 3 hours. I don't know. Someone said that's not true. I don't know what you're doing, but that's not true. The videos. All right, someone's freaking out on Facebook. What? The videos are not roasting dogs in their yard. There's people in Springfield making videos talking about their neighbor eating it right on the out in the pines. So they got neighbors talking about it, but they don't have like full blown proof. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I just think the Trump video is funny, but I'm sure that there are places in the world that people do eat people's cats and dogs, and if you bring enough people here, that'll happen. But I think for anybody, if you talk about it, it's always good to like know, like have real evidence. But I don't know. Maybe it'll come out, but I'm not really concerned about that. I think the Trump song's funny, but good luck with that. You guys could look into it. Appreciate you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the geese. People are crying about the geese in the comment section. We got to save the geese. Actually, I don't know. I don't care about geese that much, but I'm out. I'll be back soon, and I'll have a lot of Instagram reels and shorts. Hopefully you guys like that. It's just easy and fun for me to do, but I'll have a few podcasts over the next couple of weeks. This was the long one to make up for me not doing one tomorrow. See you guys. I'm out.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk for $5 a month. You can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is